What is up, everybody? So, NA, because why not? Hold on, my volume is so fucked up. Yikes, hold on, my, volume manager isn't actually showing my volume correctly. There we go, that's better. At least that was a very soft, song there. Alright, what is going on over here? We got our memorial stages. What's even rated up? Nothing of note. Lobo, though. Okay. Let's go mess around with the... Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll yeet all of our invites, and then anybody that wants to, you know, use something for the memorial stages, put it in your all slot, and so you can just send me an invite here. We'll give everyone a fair shake. Is, what's his name? Tesla, excuse me, what's wrong with me? Is Tesla in this batch of memorial quests? Because if he is, that's a really hard one to do at neutral. It's not too hard to do when you're counterclassing, but at neutral, it's very easy to get vaporized. No feels bad. Can't have nice things. Alright, we'll put my code on screen for a second here. There you go. What's not fair is sometimes what happens is while I'm deleting, other people are sending me invites before the list is updated because they already know what my friend code is. And then so by the time I've actually cleared out the 20 slots, there's already like 10 invites. It is some bullshit. Alright, we'll use one of my units first though while we let that update. Oh yeah, technically we haven't beat Lost Vault 4, because even though we beat God Juno, we didn't let the stage complete. So we can't do the last one there. But I can always do that later. Kinda weird the way they did this UI. Okay, we gotta do the baby stage here. Oh my god, of course. Should have done this before the stream. Professional streamer, by the way. Nothing like inventory management. That's the exciting stuff. Okay, hold on. Let me
Yeah.
I don't normally worry about CE bombs on NA too much, but I don't have that much QP over here, so let me at least make like a CE bomb. We'll make it a 2-star one because they look cooler. Man, NA doesn't have some of the CE menu improvements yet. It's kind of annoying. Well, that was right off the bat there. Okay, why is the UI like this? Let's see, what do I not need? I guess I don't need those. Can you not do the click and hold and drag thing? Okay, no, there we go. What is going on? There we go. I don't know. What? This is not running so good, and I don't know why. Guess we're doing this the old-fashioned way. It's not about rarity and Ascension. That's not what it's lacking. Like on JP, it automatically will put stuff of the same type at the top. That way, if you're wanting to limit break it, it's a lot easier. Even if they're locked, it'll do that. And then it, with the exception of copies of itself, it doesn't put the locked things at the top because that's pointless. Because the thing is, depending on what you're doing in your CE menu changes on like what needs to be shown. And a lot of the stuff right now, it's like if you change it, that's where it's shown on all the menus, which is really obnoxious. Or on JP, it's like it's different depending on if you're leveling stuff or not. Well, it's kind of weird, because I would have thought NA, because NA gets quality of life updates so early all the time. Really don't want to deal with all of these CEs. I'll probably start burning them in a minute. I just want to make at least one CE bomb. Probably enough for now. I can do this later. As long as it's enough to start a stage, I don't have to worry about it. Oh my god. Is that still CEs?
Yeah.
Yep, my god. So, some of the new, they're not really new anymore, but the second wave of FPCEs, some of them are okay, but overall they're worse than the originals. And does anyone know why on earth they even bothered? Like, it's so weird to me. Like, it's like they thought they were upgrading them to make them better for new players, but they're really not, right? Like, they removed some that were actually pretty good and handy to people that are just starting, right? And some of the ones they replaced them with are okay, like the attack up one is okay and stuff, but most of them suck. Like most of the ones that we have now are completely useless and like really niche. Like it's weird. It's like you've got like the Gloom one, which is only for insta-death. Like what the fuck, right? Like but they're 2 stars, right? So there are only 4 people that are like super new. So I don't get why they bothered to change them. And then like with the new 4-star CEs they added, which are legitimately good. That's one of the first changes I think they've made that makes sense, right? Those 3 new 4-star CEs that they just added. Those are very, very good and are good general, like they're obviously designed to be that. They're clearly designed to be like, hey, if you get these, they can stand in for Golden Sumo and Painting Summer and that kind of stuff. That's blatantly what they're designed to be. They're just, default CEs that are kind of nice general starting NP CEs. And they're like, it's good. But then they're like, okay, so we're going to remove some of the other 4-star CEs so, there's less bloat. And then they remove one of the only good 4-star CEs. It's like, why though? Why? There's so many shitty 4-star CEs. Why didn't you remove literally any of those instead? It's like they don't even know. Like, oh yeah, because, these are starting NP with damage effects. We don't need that old 4-star CE that's only starting NP. Never mind that it's 75% starting NP and that can be really useful sometimes. I'm pretty sure that's their logic, because they're like, oh yeah, see, this one's just really old, you know, it's only starting NP and nothing else. Who's going to use that when you got these new fancy ones that have 50% starting NP and a damage side effect? And sometimes that is actually true. Sometimes you wouldn't use the old one, but again, it's 75, and that's a really good number. Yeah, if they remove Art of Death, I'd be pretty pissed at that. You can technically still get the Sakura CE, but it's a lot harder. The odds of you getting it now are terrible. I think you have to roll Story, and then it's still in with all the other 4-star CEs, so the odds of you pulling it aren't great. And most people don't roll Story very often. It's not just good for Sakura Scope. It's not just good for supports. It's also good for like a lot of farming setups that have batteries that are 30%. They don't need K-Scope, right? Because that's for 20%. So, and its team cost is lower. And a lot of farming stages, you don't really need like a damage side stat a lot of the time, depending on what you're working with. Okay, this is like that level 5 stage, so it doesn't matter what we do here. Fuck it, we'll bring this. Like, out of all the 4-star CEs to snipe out of the Gasha, why would you pick that one? It's just so strange. Well, pretty sure that's it for Casterku. Oh, he actually lived a hit. This is bullshit. Yeah, not only are there a lot of budget units like Arash and Spartacus that work well with it, you've got a lot of higher rarity stuff like Mordred. I mean, 30% batteries are pretty common. Sure, there's more 20%, but there's a lot of 30% batteries. And if you happen to be one of the weird units that has like, you know, 40% or whatever, it also works, so. Because if you have a 40% battery, your only other alternative at that point would be like Demonic. Which, you have to, that's kind of a bitch to MLB. Nerf Casterku, yeah, no one could ever beat that stage. Oh my god, I can't do this one because we technically didn't beat... I keep forgetting, we didn't technically beat Epic of Remnant 1, because we just keep the Moriarty fight. I mean, it's just tickets, but isn't there a challenge quest at the end that you can't do unless you do all of them? Something like that. I don't remember, because otherwise it's not that big of a deal. No, I know they've done that before, but I guess not with this one. I guess they didn't give a fuck. All right, I guess that sucks though, man. Like, God, that's annoying. What is this one? This is probably the Taunt Wall one. This one is probably the Demon Pillar one. Yeah, that's a bit of a giveaway there. Let's see. Wait, what that? The Demon Pillar one, was an assassin. So this is Shimosa. Is that Limbo? Yeah, I guess that's Limbo. Why is my music dead? Why would you bring back Limbo though? My god, is that not a good one? There's nothing to do here! What the fuck? Literally, why is this one locked? I've absolutely beat Lost Bolt 1. Do they not let you do these? What the fuck? Why are these locked? Do you have to like do all the other ones to get these? Because I've literally beat, even on NA, I've absolutely beat these. That's so lame. So does that mean I can't do it unless I beat all the ones back here? Or do I just have to do Lost Belt 1? Yeah, I just have to do Lost Belt 1. Why are these done so dumb-like? Like, these are so much stupider than how they used to be back in the day. And I remember that's how it is for Anniversary 5 as well. That was also done like a piece of trash. But no one cared because Anniversary 5 was so bad, like, it didn't even matter. I basically don't want to do any of these. The only ones that I want to do, I can't. Cause this, I swear, is better than Anniversary 5, but this is still atrocious. Like, the ones they picked for this year are just I mean, they picked Asclepius. Like, what a joke. Who the fuck cares about the... Asclepius is great and everything, but his boss fight is garbage, right? And, like, how do you pick that? Out of all the boss fights, how do you pick that one? Like, good god. I'm sorry, Lost Bolt 4. I like how people act like when I say stuff like that. They're like, but isn't Asclepius in Lost Belt 4? Like, I obviously didn't just misspeak. Like, so fucking stupid, dude. Every time you say something like that, there's always that guy. Let's see. This is probably... I have no idea. I do not remember a significant Rider fight in Lost Belt 1. I know the Valkyries are Riders at like the generic ones, but they're also not really a full-on boss fight. I swear to God, if that's what this is, I'm gonna be annoyed. I'm gonna counterclass just to see what it is, but we'll probably not counterclass a lot today, because kind of makes it too easy. Depends. Some fights are actual, you know, hard, but for some reason in these last 2 years, they don't really bring back... Dude, I've seen people defending, like... what I see happen is people will bring up that the anniversaries as of late have been picking really stupid stages that are ridiculously easy and are not fun to do again. And then I see people be like, but they're always like that. When literally the first anniversary they ever did that had like memorial stages, they put Gwaine in it and they made Gwaine harder. Right? They didn't just copy paste Gwaine, they literally took Gwaine from the story and gave him like an extra 200,000 health. And because of his damage resist gimmick, 200,000 health actually translates to even more health, right? That was the first one they ever did, right? And then, but like ever since then, they just keep making them... What the fuck? Like, why would you do this one instead of the one with the mammoth? Why would you do this one instead of the one with the mammoth? This one is so easy. This is what I'm talking about. Like, at the beginning, they used to pick real boss fights. And then, ever since, I know 4 and 5 were both really lame. I don't even remember if 3 was good or not. But, you know, ever since then, they always pick fights like this, where it's like, why would you give a shit? Like, they're afraid of... I don't even get it. It's like, Canis's interlude. You're not allowed to do it unless you've beaten Lost Belt 5. Right? And it's because there's story spoilers in it, right? Because they reference stuff that happened in the past. In kind of a joking way, but it is what it is. So if you're doing Canis's interlude, no matter what, literally no matter what, if you are doing Canis's interlude, you have already beaten the 2 main fights with God Juna, you've already beaten the fight with Zeus, you've already beat, you know, Kristaria, all that stuff. You've already done all that stuff. And then in your interlude, they're like flashing back to those fights, but they just make them easier. It's like, why though? If you've already done them, you're clearly good enough to be able to handle them. You don't need them to be easier now. And same thing for this, it's like, I've already done Lost Belt 1, so it's okay if I want to have a big stage, you know, big fancy stage, I don't need it to be Bitch Ivan. They have used the Shoot and Raiko fight for Epic of Remnant before, back, like, again, back when they actually tried to make these good. For some reason now they've been on this kick of make every, you know, anytime it's hard, don't bring that back. Like, I don't think any of the, I can't even remember, they were so bad, but I don't think any of the Anniversary 5 stages were good. I think maybe like one, like there wasn't like one of them good. I think like they had like one Demon Pillar or something that was good. But other than that, like Anniversary 5 was just, it was the fucking Sphinx from Camelot. Like, are you kidding me? That's not even a boss fight. No one even remembered that existed, for God's sakes. Literally, I remember Anniversary 5 so little because it was so forgettable that I can't even remember another stage. I'm actually gonna look it up right now. I want to know. Let's see. What did they do for the 5th anniversary here? So normally the anniversary pages list the memorial stages, but I don't think this one does. That's not the best sign-in I've ever seen. Literally, the event page for it does not list the anniversary fights for the 5th. Oh my god. God, I'm looking at the 5th year anniversary right now, dude. It was so shit. That was the worst. The music was the only good thing. This is ridiculous. It's literally not even listed. Not because they put it in a separate event. Like they make, even though they happen at the same time, they're probably, the event list is probably listing it as two separate things. Oh my god, what a pain in the butt. God, that's right. That's when they released the Waltz in the Moonlight. Yeah, that was a good event right there. And that game's already dead, dude. God, what a joke. I literally cannot find the anniversary stages. Like I cannot find them. Like every page that they have dedicated to the 5th year anniversary does not list them. Also, shout out to them never actually putting the anniversary on the anniversary. I don't know how you messed that up. And can someone tell me any other context where that would be acceptable? So I like how you had, like, this is not even part of an event page. Like, what the fuck? So are you kidding me? They didn't even buff him. So they did Fafnir and they didn't even buff him. He's got 52k health. Like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Then they did Barbatos, but he has no extra gimmicks. It's just generic Barbatos. But at least that's something, because he has, I guess, a decent amount of health. But I mean, they didn't do anything to it. Then they did the fucking Sphinx, which I cannot believe, and they didn't buff him. They did not buff him. The Sphinx is just the Sphinx. Oh yeah, they brought back Solomon, and you didn't get the Bond bonus. That was kind of cool. Oh yeah, what they did was they gave you a buff though, where you did 50% more damage all the time. So when you did it for real, if you were Bond 10, you'd have 100% more damage, but in that version you got 90. That was fun to do at neutral, actually. I remember that. That Solomon was alright. It wasn't anything great. Like, it wasn't actually challenging. You had to nerf yourself to make it challenging, but you know, it was at least an okay, like, play sandbox. They did the Rider fight with Lobo, which is okay. It's obviously inferior to the Avenger fight, but it's something. They did the Baldy fight in Shimosa. That one was a really bad one. That's like one of the worst fights in there. That one's super easy. They did, see, look at this. They did Anastasia, but they don't do the big fight with her at the end, right? When you fight her, where she gets the command spells on her and everything, and she has guts at the end, and it's you know, that's a real fight, right? That's a pretty awesome fight, actually. They give you like the stupid one where you fight her really early on, and she just has 1 health bar and like no gimmicks and stuff. Like, you know, who cares? Okay, this one's alright though. They did the Scatty and Valkyrie fight. That one was, I'll give them that one. That was good. Then they did Limbo and Gajuna. Okay, that's pretty good. Limbo and Gajuna is the hardest fight in that Lost Belt, I would say. And then they did fucking Cerberus. That's a joke! That's a joke! Like, that's literally a joke. It's ridiculous. Like, they made you fight Cerberus so many times in Lost Belt 5 because they didn't, like, have time to make actual boss fights. So it was just Cerberus over and over again. And that was literally like a joke that we said. It was like, oh, I have to fight Cerberus again, right? And then they could have picked Zeus. They could have picked, you know, Wadim. They could have picked Demeter. They could have picked, I'd say Odysseus, but he didn't actually get a boss fight. They could have picked the Charlotte, right? Charlotte's big boss fight. That was a decent one. Poseidon's balls, right? But nope, they picked fucking Cerberus. That's like, what a meme, dude. What was the last one? And then they did, oh my god, dude. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. The final node, you fight Nero, Bunyan, Izo, Arjuna, Da Vinci, and Artoria, but they have like 9,000 health. That's the stage that, I'm not kidding, that's the stage that's equivalent to the original anniversary where you fought Saber Alter with like, you know, 2 million health or whatever. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, 9k health enemies, oh boy, and they don't even have gimmicks, right? And that's the final stage where you, like, that's the one that's on par with the Saber Alter one. Like, come on, dude. Dude, I don't have a lot of hope for, I don't, you can tell though they're kind of out of ideas on how to, like, do memorial stuff, although they shouldn't be. I can think of a million ways to make it better, like, literally do what you did originally and bring back old bosses but make them harder. Like, hello, that's what you did with Gwaine, and then you never did it again. Anyway, I'm hoping that they'll be like, you know what, we don't want to bother with this, let's just do story replay. But that would involve work, so I don't know about that one. That's probably copium. I do think though. Okay, I'm gonna blow my heal because I don't need it and I want the attack up. See, we just land the attack up, no problem. But I legitimately think we're gonna get story replay, but I think it might be I didn't mean reword that. I think we're gonna get story replay eventually. I don't necessarily think we're getting it for Anniversary 6. That's let's be real here. That's kind of a long shot, but I do think it'll happen eventually. But I think it might be too little, too late, right? I mean, like the fact that we don't have it already is kind of just stupid. 90-90. Like I'm afraid they're gonna release it and the game will be dead. It's like, guys, come on now. Okay, with the other 90. Easy. Not too bad of damage for NP2 in AoE. If she was single target, I'd be kind of sad, but... Ivan... Wow, I mean, that was the right play. That hurt my soul. That was destruction. I just lost invulnerability, 40% attack up, NP gain, heal per turn, like, and he did it as his first action. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Let's try not to lose this. That would be really embarrassing if I lost this with a 5-star assassin. Why is she level 80? Is my Cleopatra only level 80? No wait, this is a support Cleopatra. Why am I using a support Cleopatra when I have my own? And why is she level 80? Well, we may die. Well, we'll see here. We have to win in one turn and hope Ivan doesn't invulnerability. If Ivan invulnerability is here, we lose. Yeah, the Paimon Nom is pretty good. Don't invulnerability. Yeah, at least I cast Guts on the right turn. So, at some point I need to put this in a video. I like how Scatty, she has like where she, you know, taps the ground with her foot and makes the shockwave come out. But she does it all like dainty-like, right? And it's like magic. Where Ivan is just like, you know, just slams the ground, you know, bang, bang, boom, boom style. So I need to like make a video where like you edit it, you know, and you show Scatty doing it first, right? And you don't show who she's targeting. And then you just quickly edit to Ivan just stomp in killing her or something. I need to do that at some point. I might even do that on NA because he's available right now, so. But, you know, their animations are quite similar, it's just the style is super different. Wait, did he never get rid of his buff block? Because, man, we cast that a long time ago. Well, apparently a level 80 Cleopatra can do this. I have no idea what that was. Dude, the blob dance is like so in sync with this. Like a second ago there. Okay. What do we got in our all slot? The thing, none of these stages seem particularly good, I'm not gonna lie. I guess Ivan's decent if you do it at neutral, but... Okay, I don't like Liz at all, but I do have to respect the effort here. Like, these are some of the better command codes you could have at this point in the game. 10, 10, 10, all that. Let's see if he went the extra mile here and did 2k foe. Not quite, but on the way. So I'm guessing either someone else has been 2k foed, or maybe this is an ult account or just doesn't do every event. If it's Uriel, I'm gonna be mad. It's fucking Uriel. What is wrong with you people? Look at these jackasses with your lollies. I see how it is. Uneven foes, it happens. At least we have Protoku. I can at least respect the level 100 Protoku here. Gotta level that CE a little bit. Alright, let's see what we got here. We got, Stinky. Oh, upgraded. Okay, so this might be a really sad one, right? Because this guy's put in the effort, right? He's got 10, 10, 10. He doesn't have all command codes, but he's got solid command codes anyway. But he's in P1. So, probably had bad luck when she got rated up. So he's getting 2k foes. Yeah, I always feel bad for people that they got like their favorite, 5-star, or it's worse when it's a 4-star. It's so much worse when it's a 4-star, because their stats are lower and stuff, so they kind of need the NP rank more, right? But when you see someone where you can tell their favorite character in the game is a 4-star, and then they're NP1, but they're level 100, 2k foe, 10, 10, 10, command codes, right? I saw a 4-star that had faux pas and all that, and was NP1. I was like, yikes. Alright, let's see if this is only 100. It is. No, wait, no, there's Ku. Let's see, who got the... Okay, Ku got 2k phone. Obviously, I respect this, right? Now, that I can really get behind. Really disagree with this CE choice, though. Not that this is a bad CE, but I don't think that's particularly good on Ku unless the enemy has a really high hit count. But that is definitely not one I would slap on him, generally speaking. But, yeah, NP1 life feels bad. At least he got her, though, right? Like, if you didn't get her at all, then that'd be a lot worse. Fucking Merlin. Okay. Got, MHX. That's a big MHX. Have we used this one before? I feel like we've used this one before. I definitely recognize the name. And I know nice assassin slot. I'm guessing it's because she's normally in the assassin slot, and that's what he wanted to show off, so he just, moved it over. Let's see what we got here. 2k foe. Okay, here we go. This is, that's what I got that level 100. Is that how much X... No wonder. Good lord. I never really pay attention when I take things to 100. I just do it over time, right? That's ridiculous. Jesus Christ. Like, that's a lot of fucking XP. Because I've only, on my main account, I've only got a few at 100, right? I've got Golden Sumo, Black Grail, I think I might have one other one, but that's like it. And then I got a few at 80, like, because they're 4 stars. And then I got the Yang CE at 90. Does anyone know how much total XP it is at 90? Because I suspect from 90 to 100 is a huge chunk of it. Because this fucking game... But this is a really upgraded MHX right here. Might give that a chance in a minute. I don't know. Can't use it against Ivan because that'd be too easy, but we'll look for something. Alright, we got Big Ziggurat there. Nice Ezo. Got good command codes. I wonder if... This would be harder to be 2k foe because he hasn't been in the games as long, so... Oh, but if he's... Oh, no, he got it! I wonder if he was saving those up when they... Like, as soon as they added 2k foe. Although I guess there has been enough time. Let's see what else he's got going on here. So Gwen's 1k. Who else is 100? Tomaway. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. Now, at least NP2, and I'll say 4 stars at NP2 feel just fine. I've never felt like a 4-star at NP2 like feels weak. But see, look at this. He clearly likes Gwen, but definitely likes Tomaway more, right? Because Tomaway's 2k foe, right? So clearly likes Tomaway more. But he has Gwen at NP5, and Tomaway, who's clearly one of his absolute favorites, and potentially his favorite, is NP2, right? So didn't get good luck on that one. Are there any other... Oh, Scath! Scath is 100 as well. Oh shit, so he likes Scath a lot, because Scath's getting 2k foed. Wait, holy crap! This guy must not have missed any ever, and I wonder if you did. If you're in chat, did you buy any faux pas from the Rare Prism shop? Because I don't think you're like an Omega Whale or anything, because you only have NP2 Tomaway and NP1 Scath. If Scath's one of your favorites, because she's 2k foed, she wouldn't be NP1 if you were like whaling, right? But I'm still wondering if you've gotten some faux pas from the shop. Let's see, let's check out the Medea here. Okay, she doesn't have any. So I'm guessing Tomaway got them first, but it's hard to tell. Could be Scath. But, yeah, I'm okay with this taste. All these characters are cool. I'm okay with this. You can almost, so you can almost fully 2k foe 3 servants right now. And I'm guessing if you bought them from the Rare Person shop, then you definitely could. I didn't realize NA was that far along. But yeah, I don't think this guy's a whale, like, at all, because he clearly is, like I said, a huge Tomaway and Scath fan, and their MP ranks are really low. So probably either pure free-to-play or a Dolphin, but I suspect pure free-to-play. Trying to find him in chat here. Never buy one. So that you just must never have missed one from events. You must have gotten every one that you could get. But yeah, I like this list. And look at this Herc! Yeah, look at this Herc. We got Herc at level 100. Bond CE. There we go. I like this taste, right? I not a single character on here that I don't like. The only, and look, even George got the level 1 George, right? Like that's good shit right there. There's only one problem with this list, chat. You know what that is? There's only one problem, and it's a really small. It's a really tiny problem. It's not the full problem. It's like it's a third of the problem, right? And yeah, that's Gray's skill. You got that third skill is at 9, right? Look at this. You got Ezo 10, 10, 10, Gwen 10, 10, 10, right? It's 10, 10, 10s across the board. Then you get to Gray, and it's 10, 10, then 9, and then the back is 10, 10 for everybody else. So that's the one issue. Don't have the lures, feels bad. I really like this list though. We gotta pick someone to use here in a second. Then we got I Love Arjuna, right? We obviously, she's here all the time. She's basically like the like, I don't know, the drunken chat mascot. I don't know how else to put it. So she has so many accounts. I don't know what's what, but this is a account, right? Obviously, the only thing on here I don't like is shooting, right? But everything else is good. Got the correct ascension stage for him. So although these skill ranks are a bit scuffed, because I know Arjuna has 97 accounts, I kind of use, only the main one. That's the only one you hold to a standard, right? There's Arjuna's main account. The rest of them don't really matter. But they're still decent skill ranks. And you got this massive Siegfried here. Even 2k foe, by the way. And that is 10, 10, 10, so... I farmed out the eggs for Arjuna, not farming more. Yeah, I know a lot of people really hate farming those. Wait, let me see if I can guess who else you've 2k fo'd, because it's really tricky because you have so many accounts, so like what you prioritize is all over the place. I'm gonna guess it's Karna and Siegfried, and then and Godjuna is just now getting them, because you already have Godjuna on JP. So you probably gave them to Karna right away, right? Godjuna wasn't even in the game yet. So you were just giving them to Karna and Siegfried. And then now that Godjuna's in the game, you're probably now giving them to him. It's either that or you were giving them to someone else before he was even added. So it's definitely Karna and Siegfried. We've seen that. Let's see if Godjuna has any. Nope, yep, okay. He's way farther along than I thought though. So did you give it to Karna and Siegfried and then just hold them until Godjuna got added? Because you have a crap load there. This is pretty decent taste here. Some unique picks. This is not this is very, like, when you open up support lists, you see a lot of the same stuff, especially when you don't open them for my friend invites, right? My friend invites are going to be pretty slanted because it's my viewers, right? But if you look at like random stuff on the list that pops up, you see a lot of the same shit. This is pretty, specific, right? This is not something you see all the time. How big is this Sanson? Maximum Sanson, and then you get this 9,900. Imagine being a 2-star and having like a way lower attack stat than most of like the DPS 1-stars, right? Fucking sucks. Like, what a joke. And I know this feeling. My Sanson's almost 2k fo'd. He's like 1,800 right now. Look at that golden sumo. Okay, who else would be 2k fo'd on this list? No one. Okay, I guess Jolter, because she's the only other one that's 100. I wonder if you have like a million things at 90 that just aren't on this list. Like, I feel like you grail a lot of stuff to 90 and not stuff to 100 very often. Either that or whatever else is 100 is just not on the list right now because maybe you've moved some shit around. Trying to see if anyone else is 2k fo'd, because I do kind of feel like you're either saving them or there's just someone else that's not on the list that I can't see. Because no one else is 100. Okay, boy, you don't see that every day. You do not see that every day. I can't even remember the last time I've seen somebody getting 2k fo'd that isn't level 100, right? Because ultimately there's a lot more grails than there are foe items, 2k foe items, right? Like, grails are pretty plentiful. But yeah, I'm kind of guessing this guy has, or lady, I have no idea, but this person, I'm assuming, has grailed a lot of stuff, and there's like lots of things to 90, and they're just not on the list. Yeah, that's what he said. They got a lot of things at 90. I actually totally get that, though. My brother does that. My brother doesn't actually grail things to 100 much at all. He just grails, like, everything ever to 90, right? He has a massive amount of servants at 90. It's a pretty practical thing to do, to be honest, because it doesn't take that many grails to get to 90. But a lot of things, performance goes up at 90, and then you just... 90 to 100 is so slow, taking all those grails that you would have used from 90 to 100, you just use for more 90s. You can basically get, like, the entire roster up to 90 that you use anyway. I should really be using people's units, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, the Cleo needs work there. Got 888 NP1, but good taste still. Kind of mixed on this one. You know, Ku's good, Gil's good, Merlin's good, Cleo's good. You know, Drake's pretty cool, but then I'm not a fan, obviously, of Raiko and Nero, of course. But you know, it's their list, right? They get to like whatever they like. Okay, who's gonna be 2K foed here? I guess both Neros. Nobody else is 100 other than Ku, but Ku's stats are, although Ku might be because it doesn't look his CE is MLB, which means it's giving him lower attack stat, and he has 14k attack. Let me see here. Nope. Okay, what's the level of the CE? I wonder if it's over. Okay, it's over 20. I was thinking it was level 20, but it's 28, but that's not that different. So I'm guessing it's both Neros then. But then there should be somebody else. Maybe they're being saved, or they're not on the list. Wait, only the one? I bet you it's Nero Bride. I bet you it's Nero Bride. I bet you they've got a level 100 Nero Bride that's 2k foed, and they're just not on the list. By the way, the music's looping, but the song is so good, who cares? But I think I got that right. They seem like a massive Nero fan, and the fact that this one's not 2k foed means it must be one of the other Neros, right? Like, I can't see any other logic here. Need QP for skills feels bad. What do we got here? Okay. Oh, it's one of those. It's one of those fucking minion of chaos over here with their level 99s. Doesn't like the 100 font or some shit. Fucking Gabe started this all, and maybe unrelated, but I remember Gabe was the first person I ever saw that did this, and he had so many characters at 99. Shit was ridiculous. Alright, let's see. Well, Chiron is NP4. And then Nightingale is NP2. So I don't think it's a whale by any means. Like, the NP ranks here, I don't think it's even a dolphin. I think it's just straight free to play. With at least some degree of willpower. Yeah, it's kind of obvious. I figure it's these two. That rare to see it. Okay, not quite. She's got some. Now that means there's either someone else that has it that we can't see. Or they just don't grab every 2k foe that has ever been, which wouldn't be shocking. But in the process of 2k foeing her, and that's I'm not sure I've ever seen a 2k foe Nightingale, actually. I like these characters, though. It's pretty good taste. Not the biggest fan of Benny, but she's not the worst kid character. At least she's not a sexualized lolly. That generally makes it better. Fucking Japan, dude. We got Legend here. Pretty sure I've seen Legend's list before. Yeah, and it's kind of obvious that it's Taiga and Robin. I wonder if anyone else is getting anything. That Gray, though, not quite ready for the, oof. Not even the 1k health. And on the support list, though, right? Like, that's the one that was put up, opposed to, you know, any other assassin. So that's a bit of a... Wait, that's not you? Oh, it's Ethan. Excuse me. I don't know who this is then. Get my names confused here. Still though, big oof on that Gray. I definitely have seen this support list before. Not 2k foe on Robin. I wonder if they don't play a whole lot, so they don't necessarily grab every 2k foe out there. Either that, or again, it's not on the support list, which happens sometimes. Yeah, we got White Flags. See, now White Flags is a good guy, and his name matches his Twitch name. Oh, it's Alan, right? I always forgot. Yeah, I know you. You're in my chat all the time. I kind of just forgot, because I always just look at the Alan part at the end for some fucking reason. Because you've totally sent me your list before, haven't you? Because I know we've seen that list before. Normally be Regend. Is that 2K Fode? Alright, what do we got on white flags here? We got the Mega Charlotte. Was he ready? Oh, he was ready. Not quite. He's short just a couple of foe items. But he clearly had decided well in advance that he was going to set up Charlotte. By the way, she has a higher attack stat than Sanson, and she's a 1-star. This game is bullshit, by the way. This isn't really a review. If I wanted to review someone, you gotta send like a bunch of screenshots in like a photo album so I can just scroll through them, right? And so then because you gotta see way more than just this, right? You gotta see like do they have George level? Do they have David level? You know, what are their skill ranks? You gotta have all that stuff, right? So it's kind of just like looking at what their favorites are. And see, here's the thing. When you're looking at someone's account in total, I'm not looking for everything to be 10 to 10. My account's not 10 to 10 on everything, right? Like that, of course not. The thing is, your support list is what you're showing off, right? It's your cover, it's your you know, intro, it's your favorites, it's that stuff, right? So that you want to put your best foot forward. So when something's not 10 10 10, it's like oof, right? Unless it's a newer account, then you don't really expect that. But it's also just something to shit, you know, it's just shooting the shit, right? It's not actually important if they're not 10 10 10 really, but it's just something funny to bring up. Okay, we have 2K Foe there. Anyone else that's like maybe Medea? Okay, I respect this. And you know what's sad though? She still has terrible NP damage, right? It's not just level 100, it's also 2K Foe, and she still has terrible NP damage. But at least it's like better, right? It's almost acceptable. She feels like she almost has a level 7. She almost has like the damage of a level 70 Ushi, right? Like she doesn't actually. I'm pretty sure she still has less, and by quite a chunk. But you know, she feels like how a level 70 caster should feel in terms of damage if they're a single target nuker at 100, because that makes sense. Thank you, DW. This is all so fair. Okay, let's actually use some shit here. Now, see, I gotta give this some flame here. Now, it's a 133, right? So I'm joking, but like, I mean, come on. It's in your all slot. It's level 100. It's Jolter, who's, you know, been in the game for a long time, and it's 1077. Now, the oof part. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, okay. I was guessing probably hasn't been playing either super long or not actively. Probably could be like an ult account, right? Because that's some oof skill ranks right there. Also, this CE should never be used on Ku under any circumstance. It is so bad on him. Because the way Ku plays, even at level 90, even at level 70, it's like extra health doesn't really play into Ku living longer. It's just about his skills, right? And then while he's alive, you want him to do more damage because he's gonna live through his skills, not his health. And so this is just a terrible CE in general, but it's especially bad on Ku. It's super bad on Ku. Don't do that. It's not good. But Ku's not even 10-10-10. He's fucking 161. So that's like an embarrassment. But you know what are you gonna do here? Yeah, this is a little yikes. This is a little yikes. But it's only a 133, right? It's not an account that's played a lot, I would imagine. It's either new or it's just not played often, right? Okay, let's actually use a unit here. Let's get. Oh, hey, Ghost. He gets those invites in fast, man. Okay, just because it's unique and we don't really ever use her, we'll use Saber, Liz, against my better judgment. Alright, what's something worth fighting here? God, these suck! These are so lame! Can I just have some of the anniversaries from the past? Like, some of the anniversaries... Like, can I have the one with Gwen and all that? Like, that's a good one. I'll almost never use God Juno for the same reason that I don't generally use Ku Alter, and you know, and like I use Herc a little bit, but that's because I really like Herc. But I don't even use Herc very often, right? Like all those big OP berserkers you can't do anything fun with them because they counterclass everything, and like most content is so easy that if you're counterclassing it, it's nothing. It's especially for Ku Alter. Ku Alter is like the boringest thing ever. Which one is this? I guess we'll find out. Wait, we're counterclassing though. Fuck. I just picked that one at, oh my god. Okay, we'll fight Ivan again. There we go. Oh yeah, when you fight the 3 Valkyries. That actually would be kind of interesting with Liz because she's not AoE, she's single target, so she'd probably have a hard time there. And I can't summon the guy I just added because this game is awesome. I don't even... Might have to remove some people here so we can actually summon people. There we go. What are we gonna do here? Anniversary is fine for her, but I think we'll do default because she might die really quick. We get unlucky. Okay. I don't believe for a second that Liz knows how to use a sword properly. You know, the particle effects on his blue beam there are not like the best, but just because of the color and everything, it's still good. She doesn't? Yeah, I wouldn't think so. She's holding it like somebody that wants to pretend they know what they're doing with the sword, right? Crayon Saber Liz. Can you imagine? Like how, people would be so mad. Although some Liz fans would be happy, I guess. Alright. Why does her kit have to be the way that it is? What's so annoying too is, like, I think what they wanted, and I actually like this idea. I think they wanted her NP drain skill to essentially be a second NP that she has the option of doing instead of her NP. Because it drains 100% of her NP gauge, and it does a different effect. The problem is, it's random, and, like, if you're gonna give up 100 fucking NP, you don't want it to be random, right? Like, if you could either pick, or if it was all of the effects, then it'd actually be really good. It'd actually be, like, busted if it was all of the effects. But the fact that it's random, it's just like... Let's see, though. What are the effects? I haven't looked at them in a while. So she can heal for 3,000, so that would be terrible. She can bust her up for 50% for 3 turns. By the way, Arthur can bust her up for 3 turns all the time on just his first skill, and it doesn't take NP, and it also gives him 20%. Why has she not been buffed? Like, I don't even like Liz, but this is what I'm talking about. Why has this not been buffed? She was made like 5 years ago. This is what I'm talking about, dude. It's like they don't respect their own game, for fuck's sakes. There's no reason that she should not have been buffed in all of this time. And other welfares have been buffed. Other older welfares have been buffed, right? And Shiki's been buffed, for God's sakes, right? It doesn't mean anything. Fucking Saber Lily has been buffed. There is simply no reason to have a unit like this not get buffed. And it's not fun, right? The whole gimmick that they're going for with this unit doesn't work, right? So if you want to, like, have fun with this unit, the third skill just needs to be so much better. Again, by all means, keep the drain, but then make the effects way better. But yeah, so you can, anyway, 3 turns, bust her up, 50%, whole team invulnerability. That one's actually good. If you could pick, that's actually good. She can be like a scuffed Joan of Arc, right? Like, oh hey, I don't want to use her regular NP right now, and my team's in a bad spot. My support actually can't save us, so I'll use her NP gauge for saving the team instead of the NP. That would actually be good, but again, it's random. She can attack up. Oh, for the whole party. So she can either increase her. That's so weird. She can increase her buster performance by 50% for 3 turns, or she can increase herself and everyone else's attack up by 50% for 1 turn. And then she can also make 50 stars. But yeah, it's all random. So there's no world where I use her 3rd skill right now. There's just... That's not happening. Because if it was the heal, it would be bad. If it was the invulnerability, it would be good. But I don't think it'd be good enough to give up my NP. So we're just going to do our first 2 and pretend the 3rd one's not there. Guess I attack up. But I have no crit chance. Do I think we're going to live 5 turns? I'm going to be optimistic and say yes. That's awfully optimistic. I think the more buffs you have, the more likely Ivan is to remove buffs. As such, maybe I shouldn't have cast everything. Can you imagine if she landed the 50% Buster up for 3 turns and then he removed it? Okay damage, all things considered. Good start. Okay, let's see. Now see if you could get like a lesser version of it, that wouldn't be so bad. Insufficient NP to activate this skill. Well, imagine this text existing, by the way. And here's another thing. I actually like the idea. I wouldn't even mind if this had, you couldn't do it now, right? You couldn't retroactively add this into the game. Things would have to have been designed with this in mind from the beginning. But it'd been kind of cool if you could have done like an EX version of your skills. Give up 25% of your gauge instead of 100, and then get like a slightly beefed up version of your skill, or gain an additional effect, like, oh, now it makes some extra stars or something, right? That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, she's kind of like that, except it's 100% of your gauge for some reason. Do I go for NP gain? I think I do Buster, Art. Do I think a flat 1,000 and 20% extra crit is better than 20% damage and 20% less crit? I'm gonna say, well, it's got also the faux paw, but it's only like 1 paw, so we'll do this. See if we get Cricky. If we get lucky. I don't know what Cricky is. What the fuck is coming out of my mouth right now? Well, we crit, so clearly the right decision here. That's a lot of damage. That's a... Bro! He just casually... Did he... I think... Did he just triple Buster? I think he triple Bustered with Buster Up. Because if you do Buster Up and you attack with a quick, it's not a big deal, right? But he did Buster Up, and then Buster hits harder anyway, and he crit, and he had crit up. We just got 1 turn. And we still had all of our survivability left, right? From our Mystic Code and such. I feel like we gotta give her another try here. That's not even fair, man. Damn it, game. I always like when the enemy attacks, and then casts a 1 turn like attack up or Buster Up or whatever. It's like, yep, great turn order there. I almost want to go Anniversary Blonde and just embrace the speed. The neutral, surprisingly, Ivan can delete your ass pretty quick. By the way, I'd just like to point out just how much harder the game is at neutral, right? And that's why when you fight easier bosses, I like to do it at neutral, because it kind of mimics an actual boss, right? Because this is kind of a baby boss, right? But it kind of turns into almost a real boss when you do it at neutral. And my example here is this boss can be defeated by like a level 80 Sanson, and pretty easily, right? And Sanson is atrocious. Like, he is garbage. And, you know, not even maxed out, he can handle this. Even with bad RNG, he can handle this. You know, meanwhile, a level 100 2k fold Liz, not that Liz is god tier or anything, but let's be real, Brave Liz is absolutely better than Sanson. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. You know, she just got, like, destroyed, right? It's, much harder at neutral. If you got really lucky, you could probably do it without a Grailed Sanson at all, like just a vanilla one, but you'd have to get pretty lucky, I think. Let's see. I could Art Chain. That would only be good if I somehow got... You know what? Maybe we get lucky. Maybe somehow we get another Art Chain next turn, and we get 200%, or that wouldn't even get us to 200% though. It's not gonna happen. Her NP gain is terrible. I cannot believe she got that little NP when she was in 3rd place with the first card bonus. That is atrocious. Okay, so change of plans. We are going to NP Art here. I don't have to talk about Sanson like he's bad, because Sanson is bad. It's not like he's bad, he is bad. He only has use when you're arbitrarily cutting out 3 stars, right? Because 1 to 3 star stuff has a degree of practicality to it because it's the units that everybody can have, and it's like the baseline, right? Where, sure, 1 to 2 stars everyone has, but you also have 3 stars. There's like no one would ever like be that handicapped, right? So it's not a practical thing. And when you have things like 100 face and such in the mix, there's no reason to ever use Sanson. Like it never makes the cut. The only time it makes the cut is when you cut out 5 stars, you cut out 4 stars, and you cut out 3 stars. Then occasionally Sanson has some uses. I don't know, maybe, I guess you might use Sanson even when 3 stars are included, if it is a boss that is a writer, that is evil, and has debuffs. Then you might, but it have to be that specifically. And even then, eh. The thing about Izo, even when Izo is in his niche, he's generally worse than 100 face. And I swear, I've talked about Vargas like a billion times, but, you know, her character's kind of eh, and I don't like her stage 2 or 3 at all, but her stage 1 is alright. But then her gameplay is super interesting. And she's super good at soloing. But, let's see. What am I doing now? I guess I cast this and just hope I don't get buff removed. I care about NP gain here the most, so we'll do that. I've been thinking about grailing Kojiro. I actually would have grailed Kojiro forever ago if my friend Kai, the gamer, didn't play the game. Because he's got him at 100, but Kai doesn't play JP very much. He mostly plays NA. And so because of that, I don't have easy access to 100 Kojiro, and Kojiro is one of my favorite fake characters. So I thought about just grailing my own. The thing is with Kojiro, you have to go... It's either go 100% or don't go at all, right? Because he's got such a good toolkit, but his stats are so bad, because most 1-stars are not DPS, they're utility, and you don't care about their stats. You don't care about Mozart stats. It's not important. But with Kojiro, because he's a pure DPS, his stats are really important, and 1-stars have the worst stats in the entire game. So if you're not going to go to 100 and 2k foe, it's just not really worth it. You're not going to get far enough into the stat, like, you know, territory for it to, like, make his skills really shine. His skills are incredible, right? They're fucking, like, amazing skills. They're actually probably the best skills on a 1-star, but he's also got the style of skills that are the worst on a 1-star. Like, that's such a strange thing, but it is what it is. In terms of raw value, I would say Kojiro has the best skills out of any 1-star, and then, but those skills are also the worst kind of skills to be on a 1-star, so... That is what it is. That's why they buffed him so much, though, because I think they're aware of that. Can I live 3 turns? If I live 3 turns, I should save my attack up and try to MP one more time. I'm gonna try it. We gotta go for that big value. Maximum value play here. Just purge everyone but Kai. That was kind of what it was like back in the day. I used to only have like 12 people on my friends list or so. And because of that, it was just so easy to summon those 12. It was awesome, dude. Good times. However, I prefer knowing all these cool people that I know now from YouTube and Twitch and Discord and all that, right? Just like, it's nice having all these, you know, different people with... Did he just do what I think he just did? Okay, I can heal. So I need... Here's the plan. I just somehow don't die this turn. He doesn't have Buster Up, though. He needs to not quick charge. And then I need to evade the NP next turn. And then I need to somehow get my skill back. Boy, I don't know if this is going to work out the way that I wanted it to. Well, we'll see. Knows cool people, yeets them. Feels bad, man. No! Oh my god. Okay. Okay. I have an idea. See, here's the problem. If things go really well, I can get her first skill back, and I can use it twice, and using it twice means we win. However, we keep dying before that's even a thing. So what I might need to do is the turn before his NP, in case he quick charges, I do invulnerability there. And if he doesn't quick charge, then I evade next turn. However, that lowers our long-term value because then we will not be able to cast our first skill twice, where we were actually about to be able to cast our first skill twice, right? Between the evade and everything. But I think we have to do it that way because it's more consistent. And then if we can win, here's the thing, we may not need that extra value. It may just be irrelevant casting the first skill twice, right? If we're able to just hit all of our value the one time, that might be enough to win, right? So then who cares? Now, if we fall short, if I do get a second NP with the second bust drop and the attack up from the Mystic Code and everything, and we still don't win and we die, then I would have to hold and try to use the or not hold. I'd have to use the first skill right away. Yeah, if you want Fury. I mean, I can't guarantee we'll use it because we're kind of just, you know, winging it right now, but doing neutral classes is the way to go. So, and I bet you Ozzy would do all right here. Terrible opening hand. I'm worried I won't get my NP in time. Okay, at least I get it here. It was nice how it went before, because I got Chen Gong's battery, but you're not going to do that reliably in any world. Look at these lucky crits, though. And she crits again. Okay, yeah, I stand by what I said. Liz doesn't know how to use a sword. Okay, so we're not using the first skill. Okay, I'm gonna use the attack up now though, because the other turns I never had an optimal turn to do Buster attack up NP, but now I do, so I might as well use it now. Even if I still want to try to NP a second time with my second skill up again, but it's just as good now as it would be down the road, so no reason. That's really good for us though. Getting the value out sooner means you don't, if we can win sooner than I'm thinking, you know, you don't need that extra survivability or have to roll the dice as much, so. 240 is about as good as it's gonna get. He's an idol that doesn't know how to sing. What do you expect? I mean, it's true. Yeah, but Alexander summons lightning and a horse. You know, and he lands on them. We didn't crit with either of those Buster cards. I would have liked to have gotten a crit. That would have been swell. Alright, just don't die this turn, and then I can cast my 2 survivability skills. Alexander actually held his sword even more out, like it was even more ridiculous looking. He didn't do that though. You know, you're not wrong. If you could give that to Jekyll and Hyde, come on! How are you gonna die right there? Man, her win rate here, I think she might be able to do it, but her win rate's gonna be like 15%, 20% maybe. If she had lived that turn, though, I think she would have been okay. There's no world where, though, she has a good win rate here. But yeah, if Hyde can't NP after he transforms, or once he's gone from Jekyll to Hyde. There's no more use of his NP gauge. So then if he had a skill where he could dump his NP, even if it's not, like, as good as a normal 100% NP effect, like from an actual NP, at least it's something, right? And that would be nice, where they gave it to Liz, who actually can use her NP, so... I'm gonna BRB real quick. I need to get water, and I gotta do allergy nonsense. Gotta stay on top of it, so... Okay, I'm back. So, you know what would help Liz? A third skill. You know, so many options here. Like, if you gave her a defense up or a heal, that would buy you time to use your hard survival skills later. Now, normally, to be fair, you don't need 2 hard survivals for the NP. We only need 2 because of the quick charge. But, so yeah, defense up or heal would get her there. Or, she could have an offensive third skill. That meant she could unload all of her value sooner, so you could use your evade and your invulnerability right away, because you don't need to last until Ivan NPs, because you've either won or lost by then, right? But yeah, no, she doesn't have a third skill, really, at least in this context, and generally not in a team context either. Like, can 100... You Brave Liz fans in my chat, all 2 of you, do you ever use her third skill, like, outside of maybe using double waiver? And even then, I have a feeling you probably don't. Not really? Yeah, I didn't think so. It's like, there's just... It's not worth it. It's random. If it wasn't random, I think it would be alright, right? I think if it wasn't random, you would use the invulnerability every once in a while. And you probably use the team-wide attack up every once in a while. Pretty rare on that one, but because it's random, it's so bad. Yeah, if you somehow get to 200% because of like Guadia, right? Some boss that does that where they just give you so much NP, then that's probably the one time you use that kind of thing, is in those kind of fights. Because there's a few fights like that. During that one Brave Lives challenge quest, fair. Yeah, that one was like designed. That one was literally designed for that, though. They made that challenge quest to just be completely, you know, centered around Brave Liz. So, you know, they had to contrive a circumstance for it to do something. Why did I have Chen Gong taunt first? It doesn't make any sense. Because George is higher star absorb. Just run Liz with double salami? Yeah, there's that. Salami really is an interesting character, though, I gotta say. Like, really fun gameplay. I like how she's super gimmicky, but there are situations where that crazy gimmicky stuff is actually worth it. I do hope they upgrade her NP, though, because upgrading her NP would not affect what she really does as her main gimmick. But if you want to use her as a straightforward DPS against lawful good servants, she'd be better at that, and that's okay. That's good, right? It's nice when super niche characters at least have like a backup plan, right? Like, there's another way you can use them. Maybe they're not optimal, but if you like them, you can use them for this and their main gimmick, right? So then you get a decent amount of gameplay out of them. Where it's kind of hard to use her as a regular berserker right now. Yeah, taunts are the main way to use her generally, because it's pretty easy to cycle them and buy the 8 turns you need to go into then your DPS that's gonna spam. Alright, Ivan must have quick charge. That's actually good for us, though. It means we get to the point where I'm allowed to do my guaranteed survival stuff. Because holding it is how I die. We've literally, not once has Liz died having used all of her value. That has never happened. Every time she's died with a bunch of stuff left over. But it's because her kid is awkward as fuck. Like, her kid is awkward as fuck, and then also Ivan is a prick, right? Because he's got quick charge, so that makes it a lot more obnoxious to deal with the NP. Normally, you just wait until the NP turn and use one skill. So I could normally use my invulnerability, like, right now, right? And then also, he has buff removal. So Ivan is just making this really annoying. Hey, Ivan started it. Ivan started it. Don't defend him. I'm just firing back, you see. I hate when they make unremovable debuffs, by the way, because it just is like, why do you have units like Asclepius then? And guys, you gotta nerf Sanson, right? If Sanson could remove all the debuffs, that would just be too good, right? So obviously you gotta make some debuffs unremovable to keep Sanson's power in check, right? You wouldn't want him, you know, getting a big head or anything. Okay, now we do invulnerability in case he quick charges into his fucking NP. I will give this to Liz though, and I tested her for like the tier list video and stuff, and I've used her from time to time. Even though she's scuffed as fuck, and there's no reason for her third skill to be that way, she is good enough to kill Lancer bosses, especially in a team setting. Right? She does have what you need. She's got a decently hard-hitting NP, she has a damage up skill, and she has a guaranteed hard survival skill, and she even has a bit of soft survival with the defense up on her second skill. So it's like, that's good enough, right? Like, yeah, she's not like the best one, right? She's not going to be like the crip of the crop for sabers or anything. But if you're like, yeah, I need to kill these Lancer bosses, and you use her with Merlin, Waver, and shit like that, or you use her with Hans and Qingong or Hans and Mash, I mean, she'll work. You know, she gets the job done for both budget or non-budget if you like her. So, although she gets memed on a lot and people say she sucks a lot, and it's more like it's obnoxious and pointless that her third skill is done the way that it is. Even though the concept is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with the concept of having a skill that drains NP and has a really powerful effect. That's not an issue. I actually wish they would do that more. It's just the fact that it's 100% NP and the skill's not that strong and it's fucking random. Like, of all the things to make random, that's not the one. I feel like if this shoe was made today, they would make the skill a lot stronger if they were going to make it 100% drain. And that's why I'm like, okay, if you made her today, if you'd make her different and make it stronger, why don't you buff her to be like that? DW, man, they boggle my mind. So I spent all that time not using my first skill, and he didn't quick charge. So, kind of all for naught there. You know, something that would really help her, because I'm having to play in a way that is risking me dying sooner, right? Because of the way I'm using my first skill. Something that would really help her is the 1k heal command code. So that would buy you a little extra breathing room on not dying before you can cast your defensive stuff. I'll take that fucking crit though, we need it. And I suspected this was going to be the case. If she's able to cycle through all of her value, she will win. It's just, Ivan made that kind of hard to do because he did a lot of normal card damage and the quick charge thing. If it wasn't for the quick charge thing, this would not be a big deal. I think it'd be decently easy for her. You'd have a chance of losing to a Buster crit, but that doesn't happen too often. So overall, I think I have no idea what her win rate would be here though. I think it's better than I thought, but I don't think it's great, and it's because of the quick charge. The combination of the buff removal, quick charge, and possibility of a Buster crit. So the way to increase your win rate then is by saving your invulnerability, but that lowers your win rate against the other stuff. So her total win rate is probably like, I don't know, 25. It might be better than 25. It might even be 50-50 because sometimes he just won't quick charge. I think if you're wanting to get the highest win rate and you're going to do this 10 times, what I would probably do is I'd probably cast her invulnerability earlier and then just lose any time he quick charges and win every time he doesn't quick charge on that turn. Because sometimes he'll just quick charge on a turn that he won't go into his NP, right? You will not have 100% win rate playing that way, no way. But it might actually be the higher win rate. I think we win here. If we don't, we have to risk the normal card damage again. But we're at 12k health, so I know she's got it. Well, I'm glad she at least won. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. I wonder how far she gets against the dragon. You know what? Let's real quick. I really want to check. I'm actually curious how she does against the dragon, so I want to do that real quick. There's no way she's winning, but that'll give her more breathing room to kind of get the full use of her skills. So I want to see if she gets a decent performance. I think she might do okay. I don't think she's certainly not going to win, but most things at neutral don't. But I don't think she's going to do too bad. We'll see. Oh wait, it's going to Archer slot. It's like her challenge quest. I actually liked that challenge quest in gameplay a lot. I just wish the DPS didn't have to be Liz and you could kind of customize. Like whoever's an X, like the idol event. The idol event, whatever unit was in the middle got the bonus stuff. So you make it so whoever you put in the middle or in the front or the back, however you want to do it, is the one that gets like the bonus for getting the killing blow on the enemies throughout the stages, right? And only one unit can be like that. I think that would be more fun. Just because, you know, if you don't like Liz, it's not customizable, right? So less variety. But it is a fun escort quest, as you put it, because it's just neat. You know, it's neat to have, because there's like some gimmicks along the way that you have to worry about. But then you got to make sure, you know, Liz doesn't die. Liz gets kills, because when she gets kills, she gets buffs for the dragon at the end. Yeah, that's fun. Like I liked it. The stat line on it was a little ridiculous though. For if you're going pure free to play, it's the final wave before the boss that was kind of just broken. Like it's, I don't know, it might be easier now. We have more buff removal now, but back then your buff removal was kind of limited, and if you didn't buff removal those like three mini bosses, and they all had pierce invulnerability and a bunch of other obnoxious stuff, and it'd be really easy to lose a lot of value on those guys before getting to the dragon. Where if you didn't do budget stuff, you could just kill those really fast and not a big deal. So like the stat line on them, I think, was just kind of off, in my opinion. Oh yeah, we can yeet Masashi, although I can't on NA because I don't have MLB K-Scope. I don't even know if I'm close to getting it or not. I feel like I'm not. I didn't roll a lot on NA when there wasn't a lot of 5-star CEs. If you rolled like all your free SQ in the early days, you'd have really good odds of having K-Scope by now. Even if you didn't quite get all the copies back then, you'd have a few extra copies, so you would need less as time went on. But I didn't roll very much in the early days of NA. I mostly just stockpiled and waited for specific things. And even though oftentimes I roll on banners that don't have rated up CEs, like story banners and stuff, the few times I rolled on the early days on NA happened to have rated up CEs, and they weren't even event CEs. So that lowers your odds of getting K-Scope and other generic ones. I probably have at least 2. I know I have 1, and I bet you I've gotten more than that one, but okay, any world or yeah, there's no way we're getting 200%. Not even going to bother. I tell you, if she got her art cards like every time the deck shuffled and she got to 200%, that really would be good. Hey, Cairo. Casual 43 months. Going for the pipe dream here. Come on, give me that 20% crit. You got overkill on it too, damn it. Critting on overkill is so much in peak game. Alright. Definitely right off the bat. Now, doesn't her defense buff, it's only 1 turn. I wonder if we pad it out. It's only 20%. Let me think. The sooner I use it, the sooner I get it back. However, using it right now means I don't get the defense buff. I think I use it now. And we worry about the defense buff when it comes back. I'm gonna art. Am I gonna art? It's NP gain versus Buster Up. Or Buster Up's 40%. But the NP gain is only for 1 turn. Okay, you know what? This is what I should have done. I should have done my 2nd skill and not my 1st skill. And then not using 3rd skill. Don't you start with that. I should have done her 2nd skill, NP'd, Bustered, and then next turn done her 1st skill, and then done like art quick art or something. But even though I have to wait a turn longer, that's enough of a value boost that I think that would have been right. Because her NP gain buff is huge, but it's only for 1 turn. So the fact that I'm not taking advantage of it is really shitty. So that was definitely a mistake. That burn damage, though, that's what's gonna save us. Okay, I feel like Art would have been better there. That wasn't enough off of our busters for that to be worth it. Especially because we had the NP gain buff. Yeah, I definitely messed that up. Like, 50% NP gain is no joke. Because if I'd used it, I'd probably get my NP next turn, where now I probably won't get it until the turn after, and that's really bad. That's a pretty big, that's a much bigger value hit than just a bonus damage that I got from the busters, right? Getting that turn sooner is more important than that. I think I'll do this. Man, if you gave the Yang CE to everybody and had the right command codes, a lot more units would beat this at neutral. She's still... Yeah, I was trying so hard to get the NP there, but, no go. I think I do Atlas now, just so I can... This is... Well, no. Okay, I'm gonna start over. That doesn't really work because it only lasts one turn. Okay, let's try that thing that I said where we use our first skill turn 2. I think that'll really help. Is she single target? If she was doing that much damage at class neutral as AoE, that would be pretty insane. There are some units that can do that, though. I accidentally just muted the music for a second there. I really wish these anniversary fights were better. It's like, with JP having Nerofest, these are just, like, sad. Okay, that's a good opening hand. Maybe we get the Pipe Dream here. Too bad we didn't get her second art card, though, instead of George's. Yeah, but Canis has, you know, the giant-ass, attack up and, you know, all that nonsense. Well, Liz does have the big buster up. Well, our first turn was great, and our second turn is shit. Dream is dead. Man, if only we'd gotten a good, like, turn on the last one. Like, if that first one was double art, and then we got like, double art again, and we got double art now, right? But, the odds of that are terrible. But the Pipe Dream... I can overkill, at least. You probably need something to crit, too. I guarantee you DW reads at media during their meetings. I hope not. I really hope not. Okay. But they might think that that's a good conduit to understand how the community feels about things, which... Yikes. Alright, so we do this, and we don't do first skill. I don't know why I did. Well, no, he's not a servant, so I guess that is right. He just buffs with a dartboard. That would explain a few things. Dragon, Richard. Why not? No buffs, 3 attacks, and a crit. At least I had the defense buff, but that was still pretty bad. Go full NP gain. I got that 50%, so... I would love a crit. How come Richard gets to crit? I bet you his crit rate was probably lower than like ours on that turn. And he crit again. Now he's just rubbing it in. I want to do Buster Buster quick, but I feel like we might fail to get our NP if I do that. I'm trying to work in some Star Gen. I'm wanting to get lucky here. Okay, now he's buffing a lot. I'll take it. $20 stars. I gotta take the 250s. We'll switch units after this, but I wanted to actually, you know, test some shit. You don't really get anything out of just using a unit one time, right? It's all variance. And I haven't used her literally since I made the 4-star tier list video. And I'm pretty sure that was like a year and a half ago or something. Okay, I can block the NP next turn. That's pretty handy. We'll get the NP gain then, so we'll do this and hope that's enough. Imagine if he had double crit us there. Well, we're going down pretty soon. I'd like to somehow get my second skill back again, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Come on, art crit. Come on, Richard is doing it. Damn it. I doubt he plays anymore, but I remember somebody made an NA account named Nako Blue. I could die this turn, so I guess I have vulnerability. Pretty sure they were taking the piss, but I don't really care, because it's still funny. Is there any way I can live another... You know what? I wonder if I land... Is it bad that I'm thinking about using my third skill? Because if I NP'd right now... If I NP'd right now, I don't have my second skill. It would do like, I don't know, 60k. You know, and sure, that's a good thing to do right before you die, but I feel like we'll get more than 60k out of her if I live a bit longer. I'm doing it. Come on, RNG. It's okay. It's not the one I would have necessarily picked, but because here's the thing: if I can NP, it's the right call if I can still NP before dying. Because otherwise, if I just NP'd right there, I don't think it was very likely that I would have gotten to NP again. Because I wouldn't have drained. I wouldn't have 20 left, right? I'd go down to 0, and with this extra 20%, I think I might be able to just NP right before dying, and with my Buster up. Like, either play, I think I only would have NP'd one more time. Although I might NP 0 times here because this is a gamble. But if this way, though, I could potentially NP one more time and have done more normal attacks and have got my second skill off. So if I get lucky, it's worth it. If I don't get lucky, it absolutely is not. And then I just remembered how bad our NP gain is. Shit, that's kind of a relevant thing here. Can we just real quick? Can we open like a portal to JP and switch out? Like this command code's not doing anything, right? So can we just switch that out for a Merlin one real quick, and then switch this one out for the heal, the heal one? and then fucking give this one the heal boost one, right? Oh, that one actually does this one in A actually, but you know, and then, so then we get a bunch of health back and we get more NP, and then we might live an extra turn, right? Okay, let's see. If I do art, quick art, and I don't get my NP, that's really bad. If I crit though, I'd have to crit, and then have him not kill me. Now, I think I go for damage. We try to do more damage with our normal cards than we would have done with the NP. Might actually happen, especially if I crit next turn with the second skill. Because again, if I didn't use the third skill, I would never have used my second skill again. And our NP would have only done like 60k, which it's not that great. And because we just double crit, that was good. Yeah, it's true. Pretty much none of our command codes actually work here, unfortunately. Damn, he actually hit us a lot, so if I had done art, quick art, and maybe gotten a crit, we may well have actually gotten our NP there. Fuck. And then now we get this? Shit. I should have gone for NP gain, because if I miraculously live this turn, which is possible at 4k... okay, here's what I gotta do. This is gonna hurt so bad, but I gotta do this, because the defense up might actually buy me the turn. But that means if I do NP again, I won't have the second skill. We gotta, like, play the middle road here. I still think using our third skill was actually the right play, but I don't think we're getting as much out of it as we could have. Oh my god, we didn't care with that. Yeah, if on those 2 turns, if I had gone for full NP gain, I would NP'd again. And of course he crits me. Buff, buff. Ooh! Okay, well it worked. Even though I don't get my second skill here, this was still, using our third skill was absolutely right. Because look, I'm correct. If I had done my NP on that turn, I would have had 20% less NP charge left over, right? Because it takes all of it. You know, it doesn't matter if you have 120, it takes you down to 0. So right now, I'd be at 80%. So I would not have gotten to NP twice. I would only have NP'd once if I had just gone with the NP. Using the third skill, I still NP once, but I also got a bunch of extra normal attacks in. So this was right. The third skill was absolutely the right play, although it was RNG as fuck and it could have potentially screwed us over. But thank you, Say, for the gift itself to Zaw. He obviously deserves it. Feels good. All right, well, I feel good about this. That was a pretty good run for her. Now imagine if her third skill just like inherently gave her survivability instead of having to take 100% of your NP as well. Because then she would have gotten to do both, right? And that'd obviously be a lot better. I'm not gonna lie though, this is a pretty good performance for she's a welfare for God's sakes, right? Welfares normally don't have like kits quite on par with like the best of the best for their rarity. But getting to 520 at fucking pure neutral, that's not bad. And it's sure, there's been better, right? But that's totally decent. And I remember that's what I said in the tier list video, although it's easy to meme on her third skill, even if you just delete her third skill, it's not in the game, she's still a good unit, because she still has a decent NP, she still has decent survivability and damage, so she performs well. Alright, that's enough of Liz, I don't think I can handle any more of that. I am happy with that performance though. And we gotta slap that on the dock there. Alright, when I add somebody, I'm just gonna remove them, just so we don't get, you know, overrun. But by all means, send me another invite again later on. Alright, what next? We got that... What do you call it? Napoleon. I don't know why I forget that all the time. I think this... So someone new got an invite in, because we added somebody, and I think it's this Arthur person, which is funny, because their name is Arthur, but they've got Mordred up. And they're... Remember what I was talking about earlier, about, like, free-to-plays? That have like that character that they really like and they super upgrade them, but they only get them at NP1. Yeah, here you go. This person is absolutely free to play though. I also suspect that you have slightly shaky willpower because basically everything is NP1, right? All the 5 stars you gun for are like all NP1. Either that or you're just really unlucky. Yeah, I guess Scatty's NP2, but they gave out so much SQ when she got added, right? It's really easy to get her NP2. By the way, I really stand by this. I don't think Scatty is good at NP2. I don't think it's worth trying to get her NP2 because her overcharge sucks. I mean, her rank up sucks. Even when you do use her NP, which is very rare, you don't use it for the crit, you use it for the evade, and it just doesn't matter. It got you, though. You at NP5, so that's something. Alright, let's see. Is Mordred 2K foe? Chia. So big Mordred fan, just not so good on the luck there. Feels bad. And then let's see, what maybe it's either Musashi or Ishtar. Or actually maybe both. Okay, not Ishtar. Well, so Musashi and Mordred are like, you know, top favorites here, but then only in P1. So hopefully you get them down the line, because, you know, that can always happen. We might do Aussie in a second here. I want to add at least one person here, though. Okay, we'll do some Lee action. That's, you know, Lee is so unpopular, which is, regularly anyway, which is horse shit. But this man is a fan of Lee, right? Like, look at this. We got MP3, which is really good on it. Okay, not 2K foe, though. Okay, we gotta dial that back a little bit. We don't have maximum Lee here, but still good. Who is maximum? Does any? Okay, maybe Kentoki. Yeah, Kentoki is. Hey, look, it's another one though, where it's a 5-star 10 2K foe, but in P1. It feels. We got Mev here. Let's see if Mev's 2K foe. Okay, on the way, but not quite there yet. But at least that one's in P2. Maybe someday we'll get the big Lee. All right. Let's do Ivan. I feel like that's fair. We'll switch up stages a bit. Hey, Skittle, thank you for the 100 bits. I put a ton into maxing out Jason completely, but to be honest, I feel like he should have done it to someone else. His NP is just so entertaining. Well, I mean, if you like him, don't worry about it. It's like, if you like the character, or you like the gameplay or whatever, I wouldn't regret it. I do though. From a pure gameplay perspective, I don't think Jason is like amazing. He's okay, but I don't think he's like amazing. But I like his character a lot, and his NP is hilarious. So, let's see if we can get that. There we go. We don't need a Rosh for Ivan. Okay, so a lot of people don't seem to see it this way, but I almost never do I think this CE is worth it. Now, it is worth it in some like team play scenarios, absolutely. But everyone likes the CE because it's like good for the long term, and it is. Right? Look at this, you get art up and NP gain up. If you're an art unit, you're basically getting 30% NP gain up. You know, that's really good, and you get the NP strength up too. But unless the unit is a unit like Burgist or Ku or something like that, you are just not going to live long enough for the long-term value of this to outweigh the short-term value of like Painting Summer or Golden Sumo or whatever because of starting NP. Now, you know, there are times it's right, especially with enemies with very high hit counts or enemies where you have more time to build up your NP than normal, against like trash mobs or something, or where the boss won't take like any damage for the first few turns. There's been several bosses like this. Like this CE absolutely has use, and when you don't need starting NP, it is amazing. Like absolutely, when you do not need starting NP, that CE is incredible. But I've never been crazy about it, just because I solo a lot, right? I solo a lot, and it is very rare that non-starting NP CEs get to go long enough to outweigh like the bad beginning. Now, Lee, though, trying to make it work anyway, because if you get really lucky and you get your NP at the start, if you get your NP by the time your taunts die, and you have a long-term CE like that instead of a starting NP CE, then it's super good, right? Because then you're getting best of both worlds. You get the short-term and the long-term. So we'll see what happens here with Lee. See if we can get lucky. This is not quite as good as like some other hands we could get, but this is still a very good hand. Like, I would never complain about getting a Brave Chain on my solo unit on turn 1. Does Lee have his NP buff on NA? I feel like he doesn't. Like that, I don't think that was that long ago on JP. He does? Is it his skill that he's missing? Because yeah, I think it's his skill that he's missing. I feel like there's no way he has all of his buffs yet. I guess his NP buff was actually a long time ago. Unless I'm just crazy. Have I completely lost track of time, and it's been longer than I thought? But I feel like he shouldn't have something. He doesn't have the Star Bomb? Okay, that sucks, but we'll work with it. Well, we got literally the same hand again. It's not enough, but I'll still take it. It actually got pretty close, but the sad thing is it's all kind of all for naught, because I'd get my NP next turn either way, so... Okay, I actually think I should use my second skill right now, even though... Having the... no, yeah, I'll do it now. Having the option to shuffle next turn in case, like, the stars go to bad places is nice, but, this is probably better. We got that BB slot machine. I think I do Buster quick, make as many stars as possible. Come on, slot machine, make me 5 stars. I think it did? Yeah, it did. Awesome. So, if I remember correctly, he makes 15 stars, so, when he's buffed. So that would be really nice right now if we had our buff, but, let me see here. Well, I definitely need my third skill, like, no matter what. Oh, wow. I just looked them up. They lowered the cooldown on his third skill. That is really good, especially because, you know, it's so bursty, so it's 5 turns on JP. That's quite nice. I'm glad they did that. I actually really wish I had a really big Lee of my own. I think his gameplay is pretty neat, and I think he's just so under the radar. I think a lot of people think he sucks, but I don't think he does at all. Especially with that new third skill. I cannot remember for the life of me when they actually added that, though. I want the crit damage up. The problem is, the only card that has a really good crit chance here... And I'll do it. We'll see if we get lucky. I'm probably not going to use the Buster. Although I could do Buster NP Art because then we get the NP up. Oh, that's tempting. Normally that wouldn't be tempting because we have Art up and we have an Art NP, so it obviously makes sense to go Art. But because we got the 80% crit and then the Buster also gives us the NP up, that's tough. This is a really tough decision. So I don't think Ivan is a servant here. Yeah, he's not. You can see it under his tag. It doesn't say servant, it says danger. So we don't get the Gilgamesh command code. 80 equals 0, that is true. If I picked that Buster and it didn't crit, I would be pretty enraged. We'll do the safe bet. And maybe we get lucky and we crit with these. The command code is really what made that tempting, though, because you get that extra 15%. That is really good damage for being at neutral. We didn't land either crit, and we could have gotten our NP there. Like, absolutely. Ivan's hit count is decent. We absolutely could have looped right there. Oh, we need... Okay, well, Ivan got to crit, though. That's stupid! We're at 97% and both of our crits failed. And what's dumb is he gave us... That's so... I should have done the Buster. Can anyone else figure out why I should have done the Buster? Anyone see the reason? Because, like, what's going to happen is I'm going to overcharge so much this turn. I would have NP'd next turn either way. If I had done Buster, NP Art, I would not have been able to NP this turn, but I'd still NP next turn. And now I'm going to NP next turn still, but with way more overcharge. And I did less damage. So yes, Buster, NP Art would have been better there, but there was no way to know, right? Like, if I just crit, I could have double NP'd, which would have been really good. Thank you, King, for the resub for 1 year, dude. That's a big one. Thank you, dude. This music... I don't know how I feel about this. So I think this is winnable. It's kind of like Liz, though. It's like if you get crit like that, it's just over. And that's what happened. But because if I didn't get crit like that, I could live and do our evade again, and whatnot, and obviously the NP stuff could have gone better. So I definitely think he can do this. It's very similar to Liz, though, because they're both doing just like good straightforward damage. and then they both have one survivability skill, so there's not even that big of a difference between them. So the whole problem for them is exactly the same because of the quick cards and this, that, and the other. I'd actually say though, Lee's probably better for this, because even though that went really badly, look how close he got to winning right there. If we had crit earlier and stuff like that, or I had just done the Buster play, we probably would have, even with us getting smacked in the face, I think we could have won. But I don't think Liz could ever win if she got Buster crit like that. That being said though, I don't think Lee had like a 100% win rate if he does get Buster crit or something. But he was, cause when she got crit like that, I mean she was done, right? It was instantly out of there. So yeah, Lee's pretty good. Cause he does have better damage than she does overall. But they're honestly, they're very comparable right now. It definitely favors Lee though a lot more on JP because of his third skill buff. But right now, again, they're both just really straightforward. NP nuking, self-survival skill. You know, that's pretty much what they got going on. But Lee's got the upgraded NP. He's capable of double NPing, although he didn't, but he can, that emote Cyber. Where Liz not so much. Might use Lee a little bit more, but I do kind of want to use Aussie here, because that would be kind of fun. Although Fury won't actually show up because this friends list in this game is a mess. I completely disagree. I think Yan is kind of shit, to be honest. He's usable. He's not so shit that like, although his really recent buff has helped him a good bit, but Yan's performance is terrible. Like, I've tested him quite a bit because Ares got him at 100 and all that, and I really like Yan, but I don't think the community sleeps on him at all. I think he's legitimately not very good. Like, he's good enough that if you need to, smack a rider, he can smack a rider, but 100 Face is better. Cheeky is better by a lot. Like, he's not that great. His damage is okay. His damage is okay, but he has absolutely no survivability. And then his utility is certainly not on par with some of the other units out there that have, way better survivability and like on par damage with him. Like, if you like him, he's absolutely usable, and he's very cool. Okay, there's Fury. But, yeah, no, he's not great. I do not think the community sleeps on him. I do think sometimes people exaggerate a little bit and act like he's just utter garbage and unusable trash and stuff like that, where I don't think he's that bad, like absolutely not. I'll tell you what though, if Yan was a 2-star, he would be absolute trash. Like, he is saved by his stats, not his skills, right? A lot of low stars have significantly better skills than he does. However, again, they did just, if I remember correctly, they buffed him recently. Let me look, make sure I'm not like conflating him with someone else, but I'm pretty sure they buffed him not too long ago. I know they buffed him a time before, they gave him like the quick up, but then I think they buffed him again. I think they buffed his NP. So yeah, originally they buffed his second skill to have the quick up, which definitely helped. And then they buffed, that's right, that was when they buffed Kojiro. Yeah, they gave him, his NP just got a generic damage buff, like they all do, and then he does quick resistance down, but after damage. Which is nice because he has so much, that really helps with the star gen for him. But he has the exact same problem he's always had, and that's he dies very easily, he has 0 survivability. And then if you're a unit like that, you want to do a lot of damage to make up for it, and he just does, solid, it's good damage. Like, of course, it's not bad, it's totally good damage, but it doesn't really, there's other units that do totally solid damage and then have survivability, right? So, yeah, Yan's kind of a mess, but if maybe they'll buff him again, and then he'll be good. But at least he's usable. He's certainly not like one of those units that's like, oh god, you can't even use them, they're so bad. It's not like that at all. But yeah, he's super cool, and I like his voice actor, so hopefully he'll get more. Okay, I'm just gonna restart. I don't think they should give him survivability, although that's a very easy way to fix him. Literally slap an evade on like his third skill or his first skill, and all of a sudden he's a way better unit. But that's super lazy. Right, like the whole point is he's not supposed to be well-rounded. He's supposed to be super offensive. Nice command codes, by the way. But he's supposed to be super offensive and not defensive. So how you buff him is to make his offense worth it. Make it worth it that he doesn't have any survivability, and he can just get very big damage off and make lots of stars and so on and so forth. Like that's they mess up sometimes. Come on. But, you have units like 100 Face, that do really good damage and have insanely good survivability. And then you have units like Jinkei and stuff that have no survivability and just like comparable damage. And that doesn't make any sense. I got it 2 times in a row where I didn't get a single card. I don't think Fury's here anymore because he hasn't logged in a long time, so I'm kind of surprised I'm even getting to summon him this much right now. Just give it a second and he'll disappear, so hopefully I can get some fucking cards here. Oh yeah, there's assassins will wreck this, like Sanson can beat this for God's sake, so it doesn't surprise me 100 Face can do it. 666. 100 Face is just so good, like she's just such a good unit. Because she does so many things all in one place. She's got really good survivability because not only she has an evade, and that's normally good enough, but her evade is actually a shorter cooldown than normal, and she has the heal, and the heal buys you time to get the evade again. So you evade, you heal, and then you evade again. And because the evade is such a short cooldown, it's just very easy to buy that time. And then after you're evading again, you probably have the heal again, right? So those two skills just play off each other so well. And then she also has an upgraded NP, and then the real just amazing thing that everyone kind of forgets about when you see them talking about her on like Reddit or the wiki or whatever is that crit down. Like if there's a boss that has it has really nasty crits that can just shut you the hell down, she lowers their crit chance by 50%. Most bosses don't even have a 50% chance to crit, so they literally can't crit anymore. And then she's really likely to NP again, so by the time it wears off, she'll do it again. Like this boss, right? The way this boss kills you is critting you. But if it's 100 Face, she'll never get crit by this guy, ever. There's no way. Like, she'll easily get her NP in time. You could give this boss 1,000,000 health, and 100 Face has still got this, and she'll never get crit the entire fight. Where some other assassins, if this boss had 1,000,000 health, they would actually lose if they got unlucky, right? Most assassins could handle this, you know, at 1,000,000 health, or 900k, or whatever. But if they did get crit a decent amount, they would probably lose, right? Like, at the wrong time. Where 100 Face, it removes that RNG entirely. It's impossible for her to be crit here. Because not only does she have 50% crit down, but she double NPs all the time, and then she has over 100% crit down. She can get to 150% crit down. Like, it's just ridiculous. And then she can weather crits better than most. Because if she does get crit, you got the big heal and the shorter cooldown evade. Where a lot of other units, it's harder for them to weather that kind of thing. It's just ridiculous. And that works in team play. Like, 100 Face against Bull of Heaven is so useful. Even if she's not your main assassin, she puts crit down on Bull of Heaven, and Bull of Heaven literally kills you because he crits you. And it's a long going fight, right? So survivability really adds up, and she has lots of survivability. Every time I saw somebody struggling with Bull of Heaven, because I watched a lot of people do that fight when it was out, anytime someone was struggling with it, it's because they didn't have 100 Face, or they just didn't have assassins at all. But a lot of times they'd have, like, you know, one good assassin, and that's about it. Like, they have, like, their one gold assassin, and, you know, maybe they had, like, some other random-ass assassin leveled up, but that was it. And they didn't have 100 Face. So they would really struggle. But anytime I saw somebody that had just bothered to level 100 Face, they would pretty much always have no problem. Because then they can summon, if they need another assassin, they could just summon one from the support list. You know, you probably also have another, you know, probably have at least one 4-star assassin or something. And so they're just in really good shape. And if you have to go full 100 Face in that fight, you can. If you've got to make the whole team around just a single 100 Face, you can still make it work. Yeah, Fuma's the other really good one, but he's not, even though he's really, really good, he's not really comparable to 100 Face, because 100 Face is she's such a straight value unit, right? She do damage, she live good, right? Where Fuma is very team oriented and utility, that kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, 100 Face in a way is still, you know, it's still team stuff. You know, part of the team working properly is the DPS not exploding, and the DPS NPing often, and things like that, right? So 100 Face still does great on a team, obviously, but it's very straightforward value, where Fuma is kind of hard to quantify. Why do I keep... It's because he's not... I always taunt with the front unit first, because on JP, my preset teams, George is in the front and Leonidas is in the back, and in that situation, you should always taunt with George. So I'm just used to always taunting with George, and he's always in the front. And you always taunt with George first, because he has higher star absorb. So, although it normally won't matter, because you don't make that many stars, you might as well. You might as well get rid of George first. Okay, there's actually no point in doing the art card because I'm going to get my NP from George dying. Man, I can't wait for NA to get the buff success chance command code, because they're just... You don't use it often, but the few units that want it just do so much better with it. Okay, here's the dream. I NP, and then I get hit, and then so I need to heal, and then, but I just NP'd, so my NP is gone, so I use my third skill and second skill. So on your first Imperial Privilege with Aussie, you don't normally need the buff success chance command code, but a lot of times they get out of sync, right? And you might end up, you know, casting without, and having that safety net is really good. Although I will say Aussie does not need it as much because of his third skill, but it still can be nice. And there's also just times where you're going to need to use one of Aussie's like skills, even if they're both off cooldown. It just doesn't make sense to use one, but you do want to use the other, right? And so again, you get the safety net with the command code. Although when I think about it, until you have free respecs, it's not really worth it to put it on Aussie, just because it's kind of a backup plan. Where like Tesla and, you know, a lot of Nero, Cleopatra, Caesar, even like so many other units just get so much value out of it every time that it makes more sense on them. But maybe you don't have any of those, or you don't care about any of those. Do I do art? Buster chains are swell though. Yeah, we'll do it. I don't really have one set criteria for grailing, because one, I have to remind everyone, on JP we have like 100 grails. So, you know, you have the leeway to just do stupid shit if you feel like it. But I don't have a set criteria. I have a lot of criteria, and just depending on, you know, how things work out is what I grail. Obviously, my absolute favorite characters, regardless if they're good or not, I'm going to grail. But there's a lot of characters that I like, but they're not necessarily my favorite, right? And then I'm going to very much, just because the way I play and what I like, I favor low stars. I'd rather grail a 3-star than a 5-star, because a 5-star's performance isn't going to change that much. Did he just triple buster us? I'm pretty sure he just triple bustered us. He didn't crit us, but that's ridiculous. I think we're fucked because of that. Anyway, so like if let's say I have a 3-star that I really like, and I have a 5-star that I really like, I'll probably grail the 3-star, because the 3-star needs the extra stats more. It'll have a bigger impact on their performance, where a 5-star is always good enough to get the job done. But sometimes I grail things just because of the gameplay, right? I don't mind 100 Face, right? But I grailed 100 Face because I thought the gameplay was very unique. She's super underrated, and it's just really fun. And I wanted to see, at that time, nobody knew she was good back then. And I wanted to see, like, what can she do? Let's you know, show this unit off. So that's why I grailed 100 Face. I don't regret it though, because she's just so much fun to use and just handy. And kind of same for Burgess. I don't mind Burgess's character, but I absolutely do not hype Burgess's character, right? She's kind of just slightly above neutral, right? But her gameplay is just, there's nothing like it. It's so unique, and it's super interesting, and it's really good. So I grailed it for that. But it just depends. You know, Ku I grailed because he's 3-star and he's my favorite character. You know, Gilgamesh I grailed because he's like tied for my favorite character. So it just depends, right? And there is no set criteria. I don't think anybody, you know, you gotta take it case by case. You know, every person's gonna be different, right? Because some people only grail because of gameplay, and some people only grail because they like the characters, right? Yeah, command codes would help Fury, but we also got really unlucky, and on the very first turn that we were vulnerable, Ivan triple bustered us. So that was a mess. Also, he's not a servant, so the Gilgamesh one. Actually, I don't think any of our command codes do anything, because he's technically not a servant here, and he's obviously not a dragon, so... But I'll say this, anytime they add a servant that I just omega like character-wise or design-wise and stuff like that, I will grail them. If they're like, oh my god, this character is so awesome, even if they suck, I will grail them. But then, you know, when they're just pretty awesome, then it just depends, right? Then it's just all over the place. So, I'm gonna... I think I have vulnerability here, because we'll NP seal, and then by the time he's gonna NP us, we would have died anyway. This is really hard for Aussie though, because this is a pretty... It's pretty tough for him with just how much normal card damage the boss can do. Especially because he hit us the turn before we had our defense up. If that triple buster turn had happened when we had our defense up, we'd actually be able to keep going a bit here. Ivan is the king, yeah. It'd be kind of weird if he wasn't. Because king doesn't, they don't use the king trait as someone that's specifically a king. It's a ruler, a leader, you know, nation, head, right? Well, we are dead. Okay. Ivan be like that. This is pretty hard at neutral, though. It really, it's not hard as an assassin, but that's because the shift in value is just so large. And counterclassing also lowers normal card damage so much, it really helps. Where the NP is probably going to one-shot you either way, although that depends. Like AoE NPs, you absolutely can face tank when you're counterclassing. But the thread here is not the NP, it's the normal card damage. We could do that Ivan versus Ivan, but look, it's another person. Oh, no, I'm wrong. I was looking, my brain, dude. I saw the 1 hour and I thought that was NP1. That's not. He got NP3. He's looking good there. So you could do the Ivan mirror match there. I saw a video a couple days ago. This guy was talking about like how different it is to play a video game versus stream a video game. Like just and because what just happened. That's like a good example. It's like it's so easy when you're trying to focus on reading chat, playing the game, being entertaining, blah blah blah. It's so easy for you to miss like little details, right? Like you don't notice your mystic code. Right, even though if you're like good at this game and you're playing it on your own, before the solo, of course you're gonna check your Mystic Code and stuff. But it is so easy when you're streaming not to do that, right? Like it's super fucking easy because so much of your concentration's not. Even though you gotta concentrate on the game to a degree, it's like the minimum, right? You're only gonna concentrate on it like when you have to, when you're taking a turn or whatever. It's super easy to miss that stuff. A lot of people just don't realize that, and they think like every streamer's a retard or something, but it's like it's hard to do a lot of things at once. Yeah, there's been a lot of grails, and the last I guess year and a half, maybe 2 years even, they pretty much always give out a grail per event now, and so they've really kind of picked up the pace. I almost think they're doing it too fast, but I'm not really sure. I don't know. Grails are fun, so... But, yeah, they do give them out like candy these days. I mean, and the thing is, the way it is now, you even if you just now get into the game, because a lot of the grails are from the story and that kind of thing, and the main interludes, you can get the grails from the main interludes now, if you missed them in the past. You can still get a crap load of grails. So it's like, you absolutely can grail your favorites, right? If you like characters, you know, across the spectrum on rarity, and so it's not a problem. You can grail your favorites. Which that's how it should be, and that's fine. I'll make stars here. Dude, I can't even fathom how like large streamers deal with their chat, because you still have to interact with your chat to an extent, right? Even when they're that large, right? You still have to. That's a point of streaming, right? And when chat is that fast, and then you also still have to, you know, deal with what else you're actually playing, right? Like I can't even imagine. If we fail, we'll try it one more time, Fury. Why not? So this is like the most important turn right here. If you're ever gonna have Ivan not just beat the shit out of you, the problem is this is really bad. He's got this. I almost want to use my second skill right now, but I mean it's so bad if I do, because then I don't get the battery and I whip the heal entirely. It's just if he buster crits us here, we're in such a bad way. Dude, I really enjoy streaming though. Like streaming is really fun, but it is very different from just like regularly playing a video game. Like it's so different. I'll take that. Alright, Ivan. There's a buster. There's a buster. There's a buster. You can't, it does not matter like how good of RNG we get, you're never going to win it doesn't. The command codes would even help. It's like you're never gonna win with Aussie if you get triple bustered while he has buster up. Oh, was that art? Okay, so we only hit by the one. That's still though. That still did so much damage. There's no coming back from that. Actually, it's not entirely true. I guess if you did the heal boost, is the heal boost out? I think the heal boost is out. If you heal boost Imperial Privilege, that is really big, and you can run back a fair amount. But it's so hard for me to tell the difference because like his hit counts are pretty similar, and it's just a lot of like lightning multi-hit stuff. So. I do not agree with these command code choices, but they're still better. ABA, that's such a bad combo. Yeah, he's just BMing. Dude, his bracelets remind me of that Dark Souls 3 boss. What was his name? Fuck, starts with a W. I don't remember his name. Walnir or some shit. You know, skeleton guy. Not Yorm, Jesus. But yeah, you know, he was like wearing those to like fend off the abyss and all that, right? Like they're kind of similar there. I've got to switch my taunts around. This is getting super obnoxious. How is this song playing so much? Okay, this is actually not the same song. It is the same song, but it's like the other one was a remix. This is like the superstar version of Green Greens. So they're not actually the same song though on the playlist, so that's I was like, what the hell? It is interesting that the community, like a lot of people bring up that they think Ivan looks like a Dark Souls boss. I've seen that sentiment shared many times. Guess I'll get my MP from him dying, so we'll go for Starjin. I would not say killing Walnir is cruel, because when you look into his lore, he is an asshole, and he also brought it upon himself. And he's a terrible fucking person. Like, he was so awful. Also, you can, if you want to spare him the fate of the Abyss, you can kill him without destroying his holy relics, and he just normal dies and does not get pulled into the Abyss. And it's not even that hard to do that. Like, it is harder to kill him that way, but it's not that hard to kill him without blowing up the bracelets, like just punching him a lot. But yeah, Walnir was like super ruthless and selfish and like did a lot to try to like elongate his life and everything. Like you can tell these like he's like tied all these dead people to him. Like presumably they were like sacrifices or some shit. Like that guy's awful. Because he never would have gotten Abyss issues in the first place if he didn't do it. Because he tapped into the Abyss, right? Like he feared it, but he was greedy and wanted to learn, you know, magic from it and everything. That's why the Abyss was engulfing his kingdom in the first place. So like the whole reason he's being attacked by the Abyss is because he brought it upon himself. And you're just a greedy asshole. So like, fuck that guy. Got a cool sword though. I'll give him that. Yeah, I think no, let's do this. Shame that he's not a servant, but this is still more damage just because of the MP up. Like 15% on your MP is not bad. Actually, that sword has some uses. It's really hard to use it as like your main sword, but if you can like quick switch to it when you're doing like shenanigans in PvP, like if things are getting chaotic, like if you're in Londo and people are running around on the rafters and stuff, because a lot of times you'll get into like 2v3s and 1v3s and shit like that up there. I've definitely had some success with quick switching to it and like using it around a corner and like blowing people off the side and stuff. That shit can be hilarious. You know, it's not as... Every time, dude. Look, he literally one-shot us. I honestly don't think Aussie can do this stage, because even if, like I will say, if just that turn doesn't go bad, we'll do way better. Because from that turn on, we're a lot tankier and stuff. But Ivan always does a lot of normal card damage throughout this fight. The only way I see Aussie beating this is if you just get really lucky and you just don't. He like does quick attacks on that turn, right? And then you're able to use your like your vulnerability and line all that up, and then you just get good damage in for the few turns that you have. But huge normal card damage is really bad for Ozzy. Although it's not so bad again when you're counterclassing, but if they can one-shot you like that, it's not great. I might have to use my Imperial Privilege before. So I think you don't have to do it now, Fury, because it's probably not worth the respecs. But I think the way to set Ozzy up for this would be heal boost on Buster, because you're going to want to NP Buster like every time. And then after that, you're going to want to heal every time, and you can't afford to do the quick attack. And again, because the Gilgamesh one doesn't work, you might as well. But it's not really worth the respec. But because that's the one way I think he can win, is that because things turn around a lot on turn 2, right? You can do the big ass heal, but you need the heal boost for sure, and then God damn it, I'm so fucking sick of Chin being in the front, dude. Because there's no breaking that habit, especially when I'm like not focusing on the game, right? If I'm focusing on chat and stuff, there's just no world where I'm going to be paying attention to that. And because 95% of the time I'm playing JP and George is in the front, I'm always going to autopilot do that. No, I'm just gonna move. Here, I'll just... I just clicked at random and it happens to be Aussie again. This is a different Aussie. But I'll just do that. I might use that in a minute. You know, well, we'll see. It'd be tough though because he's... It should update. I know it doesn't show that it's done, but it should update in just a second here. But anyway, like it should update in the loading screen. Ivan is good for this, but because he can remove buffs and all that, but he is AoE, so that would be tough. Like being AoE here would not be ideal. Oh, we got that music. I get Art Chain, and then if I get lucky, I might be able to do the NP that I want to do. And then get the charge from Chen. Like, I might get the cards I want. I might get Art or Buster. And even if I get Art quick, I'd probably do it. The nightmare, though, is like Chen gets all the cards, because then NPing is not so great. That's like the middle ground. That's actually really what I didn't want, though. I'd rather have Art quick, or Buster, or Art. Buster Art's kind of meh. I think I'd still do it, though. We might switch to default Mystic Code, too. I don't think we're going to live long enough for Atlas to work out. And doing the heal boost, Imperial Privilege, and then also having another heal, I think that'll just really get Aussie back in it for, like, taking a bunch of damage at the start. Maybe even Anniversary Blonde, and you try to just murder Ivan really fast, because Aussie crits are something to behold. Look at that damage. Look at that. He's doing berserker damage, counterclass damage there. I didn't mean berserker as him being a berserker. If he was a berserker, he'd be doing 1.5, not 2.0. But I mean, he was hitting a berserker. I love how berserkers get screwed over like that, by the way. They do 1.5, but they take 2.0, right? It's like, yeah, that's fair. Gotta do this. Got that anti-dragon crit. Hey look! Ivan being meta again, and he's got his fucking crit up Buster up. It's like the only turn I want to not get Foobarred. He removed his debuff. Okay, well, we did get kind of foobarred, but, okay. It's a good thing the heal up doesn't work like, the buff success chance up, because if it did, I would lose it when I used this skill, but thankfully it doesn't work that way. 95%. Why you gotta be like this game? Hey, watch Ivan just remove our buffs, because we have a lot of them right now. And then he crits! Not looking so good for Ozzy here. If I can, this is so risky to not invulnerability right now, but the thing is if I invulnerability right now, I lose no matter what. Like if I invulnerability right now, no matter what happens, I lose. I have to hope he just does like a quick attack, doesn't kill us, and then I invulnerability, and then my second skill comes back. That's like the only way I could get like the value I need. But that's probably not going to happen. I think what we need to do is try default. I think default might be better. It's either default or anniversary. Anniversary might not be so bad just because default might only buy us one turn. Sometimes the heal doesn't actually buy you a turn with the way damage ratios work out, so all you get is the evade. And if you get all you get is the evade, you can match that with just the guts. And then you also get the crit stars, and the buster up is bigger than the attack up. Okay, well we're fucked. He just removed our defense buff, so... We would have lived. I think we would have lived there if we had our defense buff. If he had like done some other buff to himself, because he just did double quick, I think. So I think I could have lived. And then if I had lived there, we would have won. Because I would have done invulnerability, so it's another turn, and then I would have NP'd and he would have died. Like we literally would have won if we did not die there. Alright, let's try default and see if that'll help. Now the nice thing is our heal boost can work on both heals if we're able to spread them out, and that's really good. But I'm telling you, Ivan at neutral is not a joke. He's not the hardest thing ever, but he's not a joke. And if you're susceptible to normal card damage, it's a yikes. Not exactly the best starting hand, but not the worst. I really don't understand why people expect me to do stuff to get like more value out of my taunts, because if I was going to do that, why would I just be using vanilla taunts that just give death CE? Like, I'd be bringing like George's Bond CE. It's like, I swear some people think like I don't actually know about all that stuff, right? And like someone's better because they brought George's Bond CE and like, you know, Star Bomb. Like, you know, if you're gonna just keep, my whole thing is it's like, if you just keep changing your taunts to be better and better until you win, what's the point? Because then you might as well just add in Merlin with Poster Girl, right? If you're just gonna keep escalating the help until you actually win, that's not a solo. The whole point is you have X standard and you test everyone at X, because then you actually see how they do, right? Where if you're fluctuating your, you know, your stuff, then the unit doesn't matter very much at that point. The only times I customize the taunts is if you like have to, because you have a story support, or because there's like way more trash than normal, but the trash isn't like really part of the fight, you know, shit like that. You know, otherwise it's two taunts with NP on death, and you just do NP on death in case you don't get, you know, good cards in the first couple hands when your taunts are taking up your deck. Because if you happen to get lucky. You literally don't need the on death CEs for NP charge. You literally don't need them, right? If you just happen to get your art card in the first two hands, you'll probably get it anyway. Why did I do that? I don't know why I did that. That doesn't make it, because what happens when you're not focusing? I had my NP anyway. Yeah, I can definitely see Passion Lift working here because she has such insane soft survival. Hey look, he's got Buster up and crit up again. I'll wait to do this attack up until preferably the second NP. You've always been able to max, what's her name, Tristan, but you can't max, you know, Sith Lord. That's why I don't know why I can't remember her name, even though it's Sith. Like, that's so easy. It's just Sith, like Star Wars lol, right? That's all you gotta do. But it's completely impossible to max Fergus. You can't even max 2 of her skills. This is stupid. I'm down to 53 health. Like, why does he always have the Buster up? That's not, you have to be able to like spread out the heal boost. It is possible for Ozzy to beat this, but like that last run, you can see that it is possible for him to beat it. But I think his win rate is atrocious. Like, even if you play perfect, I think your win rate is terrible here. This is just a terrible fight for Ozzy. It's really hard at neutral, though. Like, I think a lot of units will fail this at neutral. Like, I think a lot will. And a lot will win. Pretty much all the usual suspects will win. Anything that's even remotely good at soloing will beat this at neutral. You know, Ku, Enkidu, Kama, Gramps, you know, all that stuff. You know, the usual suspects will have no problem, but the non-usual suspects, I think, will have a pretty hard time. Okay, well, I can NP next turn, that's good. Luvio could probably do it because, you know, she's a ruler, so she's not going to be getting melted like this. Yeah, Canis could do this. Canis would be fine here. I don't think it'd be a problem at all. If he had story replay, I would test it on JP later, but you know, she could, I mean, this is nothing. I mean, Canis is a big boy solo unit. She's not like a big boy. She's not, you know, quite up there with Ku and all that, but she's close. And all the big boy solo units will have absolutely no problem with this. And, you know, Canis will have, it'll be easy. Like, 500k at neutral is not a big deal for her. It'd only be a big deal if there were just, you know, atrocious gimmicks going around. The only way I could see, I will say, Ku would have like a 95% win rate here or something like that, as long as you don't fuck up. There would be there are times Canis would lose occasionally, just because like I even double Buster crits, you know, or buff removes you on like the very first turn when you have all your buffs up, shit like that. But I think her win rate would be quite good here. Fergus could probably solo this. I don't see why not. Because she could remove all of his buffs too, so. Let's... yeah, we attack up here. Ushi's pretty much in the same boat as Lee and Saber Liz. So, I mean, because Saber Liz can do it, I'm sure Ushi could too, but it's just going to be RNG as fuck. It's the exact same thing, you know, straight damage nuker with 1 survivability skill on a 6-turn cooldown. You know, they're just the same thing. And although Ushi has a bit more damage up stuff than Liz does, she's a 3-star versus a 4-star. So, you know, if Ushi's level 100, NP5, 2k foe, because that's what Liz was. Liz was completely maxed. If Ushi's maxed like that, Ushi will be able to do it. But it's going to be RNG just like it was for Liz. Like, the solo would be almost exactly the same. It's the exact same principle. Saber Lancelot would get destroyed. He would die in probably 1 turn. Saber Lancelot is a fucking terrible solo unit. I'm serious, most units that are good at soloing are good in team play and vice versa. Because most of what makes you good in a solo makes you good in a team. Because it's like having really high damage, or at least decent damage and survivability, or just insane survivability, right? Or any combination of those things. That's the straight stuff that's good in a solo, and all of that stuff is good in team play. The one thing that doesn't translate back and forth are people that are very star absorb based, right? They're not like, oh, I make so many stars I crit no matter, like Jack. Jack makes so many stars that she's probably going to crit regardless of star absorb, right? Where there's other units that make a chunk of stars and then they get those stars through Star Absorb, right? And that's how like Lancelot is. And that does not translate to a solo at all, because you have all 5 stars, so Star Absorb doesn't do anything. And then a tough type of way of like Kentoki, Berserker and Rider, but let's talk about Rider Kentoki. Rider Kentoki is a pretty good solo unit, although, you know, he's got a kind of a pros and cons, where Kentoki has unbelievable damage in a solo context, because he's just NPs over and over and over again and constantly crits, because he makes so many stars that he doesn't need Star Absorb or any of that nonsense. He just makes so many stars, he's always critting, he's always NPing, he's got the damage up, but his survivability is kind of meh, right? He's only got the heal, that's it. So it's about, you have to do a lot of damage before you die. But he does insane damage before he dies. But some bosses like Hercules and Nerofest, right, it doesn't matter how much damage you're doing. You have to be able to live for a long time or you cannot win. So, although Rider Kentoki is a good solo unit, he's not like some crazy incredible one, because if you need burst, he's got it, but if there's like a survivability check, he's not going to do well, right? Lancelot is like that, where he does not have any survivability like how Rider Kentoki does. He has even less, because Rider Kentoki at least has the heal. Saberlot doesn't even have that, but he's in the same boat where it's like all he can do is gas, gas, gas and try to win before he dies. But unlike Rider Kentoki, he doesn't do that kind of damage, because a Rider Kentoki does that kind of damage in a team play or in solo, where Lancelot really only does it in a team play, where in solo his damage drops. So Lancelot does less damage than normal in team play, where Rider Kentoki probably a lot of times can actually do more. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Saber Lancelot will do less damage in solo, right? He'll do less damage than he normally does in a solo, because his Star Absorb thing goes out the window. Where Rider Kentoki will generally do more damage in a solo, unless he's working with like double Scatty or something in team play. So yeah, it's just, Saber Lancelot just does not work for soloing. And if he can solo it, it's probably because it's such an easy stage that, like, you know, Bedivere could solo it, for God's sakes. Sitting Master is fine, and I shouldn't have to explain why, because Sitting Master has a fucking evasion skill. So, it's like everything I just said about Lancelot does not apply to him, because he has straightforward stuff, and he doesn't need to crit. And also, his evade is a 5-turn cooldown for some fucking reason. A little bit, not like loads, but a little bit, and you know, it helps, but it's still super fucking random. Lancelot is still really good in team play, but he's just not. He's not just bad in solo. He's also really bad as a last man standing, right? Like, for example, you probably noticed in a lot of my like budget setups or whatever, you know, Billy makes a good cleanup unit. Even if he's not Grailed, it's like he just makes a good cleanup unit because he doesn't need any help. He just shows up, clicks second skill, gets in P. Also has sure hit in case they have evade, right? That's a nice cleanup unit. You know, Q's got all that survivability, and so there's a lot of units that are good in solo are also extremely good as like your backup unit at the end of a challenge quest or something, right? Lancelot sucks at that. You know, you don't want your whole team to be dead and your last unit shows up and it's Lancelot, right? Like, that's terrible, right? Because if you have, the only way that's okay is if you can win by like just hitting the boss one time with like an NP and then that's it. You know, if you need any kind of survivability, it's over. Billy actually can be better than Robin as a cleanup unit just because of his battery, but it just depends on the fight. Overall, Robin is better than Billy. Like, I know I use Billy because I like him. Robin is absolutely better because Robin can show up, star bomb, and your team probably made a few stars earlier, so then you're probably gonna get some crits here. Tack down, evade, you know, big NP damage. So the only time Billy though is better is if you got to show up and just go, right? Yeah, because Billy is better at that because of the battery skill. Okay, this is our turn. At least we have a crit down on him because, you know, Chen, but he can just remove that, but we'll see what happens. Do I go full NP gain? I think we do, and we hope... Well, no, I need this, though. We'll do it like that. Because it'd be nice if I could use my third skill and then get my NP again. Because then I can have triple attack up. That's like the good timeline right there. Crit. Damn it. If that hit crit, I think I would have gotten it. We might still get it. Depends on what he goes with. Okay, not a great start. So that's Art. That's a little bit more hit count. So he Buster, Art, Bustered, which is a meta combo, by the way. Alright. I should not die here because now I have the defense up. So I can apply the heal boost. Also, Aussie, please. Anyway, so I can apply the heal boost again, so no reason to heal yet. Did anyone notice in my video for the challenge quest where you fight Ozzy as an enemy? I did not edit this. There was no editing. There's a turn where the enemy Ozzy casts a skill, and then still in the enemy turn, his teammate Nero decides to attack, and she kills someone, and then it plays their death animation and death line, and Ozzy is still talking from that skill he cast, right? I found that shit hilarious. Like, you know, Nero did her turn, and she attacked, and she said something, and the unit got hit and crit and did the death animation, and they said something, and he removed my... Not only did he remove my defense buff, but he removed my heal boost. So it's very unlikely that our heal is going to buy us a turn here. Also, I did not do the attack up, although I can use it on the next NP, but we may not have a next NP. I think it's pretty obvious, though, that this fight is just... Ozzy's not really... gonna work so good for it. He can beat it though. I think it's absolutely possible to win, but you need a lot of luck. He talked over Medea's NP chant when I did it. Oh man. Yeah, especially people that activate their NP quickly, he'll definitely cut into some of that. I actually think in the video he cut into Nero's NP at some point too. If I can somehow live one more turn... Oh no, he's gonna NP me. Okay, I think that's enough Aussie. It's, again, it is possible for him, but I think his win rate would be like 15% at best. I think if you changed around some command codes, though, you could probably get a little bit better. And then maybe there's even a better CE. You might have to, you might have to play it in an unorthodox way. But yeah, that's not a good one for the Pharaoh. All right. Do we? I feel like she can do this. She is AoE, but it's also her. Yeah, let's do it. You know, I might do Ivan versus Ivan next. That is kind of a fun one. Because she is definitely one of the better solo units out there. The only bad thing is she is very susceptible to buff removal. And people think Ku is, but he really isn't. If there's a buff removal thing going on with Ku, you just spread out his buffs. And it's like, if an enemy, you'll probably at least get one hit out of PFA, and then you'll get essentially a second hit out of it, because they have to cast the buff removal instead of attacking. So, like, it's crazy to me that people think Ku is bad against buff removal. Yeah, it's like, it's not ideal, but you still get more value out of PFA generally than you do out of a lot of other people, right? And it's easy to play Ku where you don't stack your buffs. The units that get wrecked by buff removal are people that just cast a billion buffs at once and then they all get removed, right? That's the people that get wrecked. Ku doesn't do that. Like, Ku absolutely does not get wrecked by buff removal. And like, if the boss is about to NP and you use PFA, right, they'll NP before they get to cast the skill, right? It's just not an issue. Now, what is an issue is NPs that remove your buffs before damage, but that's an issue for literally everyone in the entire game. Yeah, the buff removal is not scripted from what I've seen. It is random as fuck. So yeah, I do think it'll affect her a lot more than some people. Like, again, people say, you know, Ku gets wrecked by buff removal when he just doesn't, right? But Chaco Jana absolutely does get wrecked by buff removal, so... because not only does she stack up a lot of buffs at once, and it's so many things, god, it's so many things. She stacks up a bunch of buffs at once, she doesn't use Guts, so she doesn't cancel the enemy turn. Because, like, for example, if Ku face takes an NP with Guts, their turn is cancelled, and now they can't do buff removal or attack again, so it just doesn't matter. Also, I mentioned this because she plays dangerously. Oh, no, she does Guts, what am I talking about? But she doesn't normally use her Guts for the NP, though. She normally gets low in health, then, you know, gets back up. But what I'm getting at, what actually matters about what I'm saying here, is she likes to get really low in health and then hang out there for a while and then, like, you know, hide behind all of her buffs and get her health back up. You know, that whole time, if you get your buffs removed, you're just going to die, and that's bad. Also, she doesn't go quickly. For example, some units, you know, they might be susceptible to buff removal, but they can just gas, and try to get the fight over, either win or lose before the boss has had that many opportunities to cast buff removal, where she doesn't do that either, right? She goes quite slow because she's AoE and so on and so forth. There's just so much working against her, and then she does stack her buffs, where units like Ku can spread them out, you know, you can do them one at a time, where she just uses all of them and then you're going to, like, lose all of them instead of only losing one. So it's quite bad for her. Let's see. Burgess is actually pretty weak against buff removal too, because she likes to cast all of her stuff at once. Pretty much anyone that wants to cast all their stuff at the exact same time is generally going to have a rough time with it. Thankfully though, Ivan does not remove buffs nearly as much as some other bosses. I mean, we fought him a bunch today, and he does not use it very often, he really doesn't. But he will absolutely destroy you when he does, which actually makes us a terrible boss for fucking around right now. Like, because a lot of times what will dictate if a unit wins or loses is just like that, and not like if they're actually better than someone else. Alright, let's see. Ivan hit so hard, I think I'm gonna cast Guts now. Look how many buffs look at this! She already has that many buffs, right? And like, it's just... It's very likely he'll just remove, because I have noticed there are some bosses that they are absolutely more likely to cast buff removal the more buffs you have. But there's so many different ways they do the AI for that kind of thing in this game. Because sometimes it's just scripted, and sometimes it's just completely random. I like the crit down though, that'll definitely be helpful. That's a good start. Well, he removed the crit down. The dream is our Guts goes off on his NP. That's very much what we want. Oh, I like this turn though. God, why is her Stargent so good? Like, why the fuck? Like, she's fighting one enemy, by the way, right? Like, she's supposed to hit 3. God damn, D rank indeed. No, 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 you bastard! Dude, if we could have gotten our Guts for the NP, that would have been so good. At least we get the buff success chance, though. It's not really that bad, but it's a little disappointing. Okay, we absolutely want the heal boost here. Heal per turn, Guts, offensive buff removal, damage reduction, crit down, and targeted invulnerability D rank. Indeed. I just like how in the explanation for Canis, they just listed positive after positive after positive after positive, and they were like, but her battery skill isn't enough for her to loop, so she remains D rank. And that's it. Like, they just said all this massive list of positives, and again, by all means, be like, oh yeah, no, we're not going to rate something, you know, top tier unless they can loop. But there's a difference between top tier, you know, and like, you know, mid tier, you know, or just high tier and then mid tier and then low tier, right? It's not like you just have EX and D, right? Like, what the fuck? Do I use her first skill? We don't have the buff success chance yet. I don't have my NP yet, but we have crits. Okay, if Ivan makes it to his next NP, I think we're gonna die. So I can invulnerability now. And we get our Guts in 2 turns. I might as well use it now. There's no world where I can hold on to it until like... Fuck, she missed both. There's no world that I could hold on to it until I got my 3rd skill, really. Too much value lost from doing that. I didn't mind missing one, I didn't want to miss both. On JP, your damage cuts absolutely do not get eaten through invulnerability and stuff, but I don't know if NA has that patch yet. They should, though. Oh man, we got buff removed. Damn it. At least we didn't have a million buffs though, but that sucks. We lost our heal. I think we would have won if that didn't happen. If it happened next turn, it would have been too bad, but we didn't get enough health back. But I'm pretty sure NA should have that by now. Like, I feel like that patch happened a long time ago on JP. I feel like it definitely happened more than 2 years ago. Man, she's so close to winning. As soon as we cast this, we're good. Do I have to use the BB slot machine for the chance of a 500 heal? I think I do. We're desperate. If we get the heal boost and we proc the 500 heal, it's like what, 750 or some shit? We might live. He removed our buffs again. Don't bust her, you fuck! If he didn't bust her, we would have lived there. So, this is what I'm talking about, though. Like, Liz beat this, but Liz didn't get buff removed at, like, a terrible time, right? Where we did. If we just hadn't been removed like that, we would have won. And not only we would have won, we would actually had a lot of value left over because we could have healed back up again. But that really is the kind of fight she's not good at, just because of the buff removal. She's very susceptible to that. I'm gonna use one of my units real quick, just cause. Could use Ku. I know for a fact Ku can wreck this, because I've done that before. But I'm gonna try something different. This is what I do on NA all the time. I think she'll be really fine, because she's not quite on par with Ku and Enkidu, but she's very close. I'm not quite sure. It's kind of apples and oranges just because their kits are so different and there's different pros and cons, different, like, depending on what the bosses do. But I feel like Scath is kind of like the unit that's in between Canis and, like, Enkidu and Ku and stuff. Right? It's like, Scath is almost as good as Ku and Enkidu, and sometimes is better than them depending on context, but normally they're a bit better than her, but it's very, 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 very close. Canis is close too, but I think Scath is closer, so I feel like she's like the in-between one. However, there are times Canis is better than Scath, just because, like, Scath takes a huge drop in performance against AoE, and it's not because her NP is not AoE, it's because she's so reliant on the stun, and the stun only hits one thing, right? Where, like, Ku and Enkidu's survivability doesn't change when they're fighting AoE stuff, right? Sure, their NPs aren't as good, but they're not as reliant on that. Where Canis is like the opposite. She gets a bit of a value bump when it's an AoE shtick. Well, generally the idea is get your NP as fast as possible, so, because her NP is so powerful with the stun. I'm glad he doesn't have Divinity. Anytime they have Divinity and it's like not a harder fight, like a super hard fight, it's not, you don't get any, it's not interesting. Now, if it's like a challenge quest or something, then it can still be really hard for her, but you're not really at neutral when they have Divinity. Same for Enkidu, but he gets that through survivability, not damage. But Enkidu is so broken, if he gets his... Like, Scath is a lot stronger against Divinity, but Enkidu is just completely broken against Divinity. It's like, what the fuck? The best CE is always changes depending on what you're doing, very much so. I really do have to stress that, you know, craft essences and command codes are so specific to what you're doing. They're like farming, soloing, and then if high hit count enemy, low hit count enemy, counterclassing, not counterclassing. You know, do they have divinity, do not have divinity? Right? There's just so many things that change what's best. Now, there are a few units out there, though, that are like, you know, really straightforward, and they normally have like one best thing. But like for soloing, your usual suspects are for Enkidu are going to be Golden Sumo, Imaginary Round, Black Grail, yeah, pretty much those three, and occasionally some other stuff. But those are going to be your usual suspects for soloing. For team play, instead of Black Grail, it might be like K-Scope, right? But then still Golden Sumo and stuff like that. You got the Christmas one, you know. Golden Sumo, like, I shouldn't have to explain the million other CEs that are almost exactly as good as Golden Sumo, right? Like, when I say Golden Sumo, it's all the CEs like that. You know, like Drunken Jolter, blah, 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 blah. Aerial Drive, you know, all that shit's the same. Don't you say that, Herdblurg. You'll bring in the one thing. So it looks like, yeah, Beastly just beat beat it with Choco John. So I figured, yeah, she could obviously, it was so obvious she could do it. Only got buff removed once on a non-important turn. Hey, look at that. Look at what Beastly just said. He only got buff removed once and it didn't matter. And look at this. Not only did he win, he still has guts, he has full health, he's healing this turn, he has damage cut, and he has his NP. And he can overkill by a massive amount. Right? Like, just the value shift because of the buff removal is just huge. Now, one nice thing about Scath is she limits Ivan's ability to buff remove because several of the turns you will have stun up. So that's a really nice thing about Scath. Obviously, Yang CE is on the table for every unit ever, but you know, that's not a very obtainable CE, so I don't generally bring that up. But even Yang CE is still situational, right? Like sometimes you just absolutely need starting NP, and the enemy might have not like this. Even in a solo, for God's sakes, sometimes the enemy health bars aren't big enough that you need. This is so hard to explain. Okay, if you fight an enemy that has 1,000,000 health, the Yang CE will the fight will go on long enough that the Yang CE will pay for itself for not having starting NP. However, if that 1,000,000 HP is split up amongst health bars, where it's just like 200k each time, a lot of times the damage thresholds, you don't need that bonus damage from the Yang CE, and you'd be better off getting that first NP to break that first health bar faster, because then you start working towards the second NP right away, and that NP is going to break too, right? So who cares, right? So there are times where the Yang CE just doesn't matter at all, because the damage thresholds just don't line up like that. However, sometimes health bars are much bigger. You might have 2 health bars, and each of them are 500k, right? So now it's a lot bigger. Maybe you're at neutral. Maybe the boss has damage resist, or defense up, or evade or invulnerability, because Yang CE has pierce invulnerability, but that's just bullshit. Anyway, so things change a lot. Even when something is busted as the Yang CE, it is not universally your go-to option. It just depends. Yeah, this is nice. So we had like the stun, and now we do the evade. So as long as if he buff removes this, as long as it's not his very first action, it's not even that bad. Yeah, it's true. Not all NPs are created equal. Oh look, his first action was buff removal. But all NPs were not created equal. Like some units, like yeah, they get nice big damage on their NP, and that's good. Wow, we got our NP even though Ivan only attacked twice. Yeah, this is why we got this in the bag. Anyway, but some units, it's so important if they get their NP, like on that first turn, to immediately start building up towards the next NP, and like maybe get their attack down or damage cut or whatever comes with their NP to start mitigating the boss, right? Immediately, where if you wait a turn, you miss out on that mitigation, right? So some units starting NP is just immeasurably good. At least Ivan didn't do double buster. If he had, we'd actually be kind of low on health right now. My command codes on Scath are pretty out of date. I'm kind of waiting to do much with them though. I don't play NA a lot, so I don't have all the respec items that are given out, so I'm kind of just waiting. I'll give Ku the best ones, I'll give Scath just good enough, and then I'll worry about... I probably could upgrade Scath some, because I do have enough respecs to at least do that. Okay, this turn I don't have to worry about it. He can't buff remove as his first action, because he must NP. And then if he does buff remove, he can only attack one time. Because the NP is one action, the buff remove is one action, so we're pretty safe here. So double buster there instead of quick at the end, because the busters have higher crit. Second place is pretty much always a buster though, because in second place buster is the best NP game for her. The only time I don't think I would put buster in second place is if like both my buster cards had like a 10% crit chance, and then both my quick cards had like 80 or 100% crit chances, then I might do NP quick. But otherwise, it's pretty much always going to be NP Buster, question mark. 95%. Okay, the fight's over really soon, so I might as well evade. Even if he buff removes, it's worth it because I'm down in action, right? Oh, he's down in action, so it's totally worth it. And actually, I don't need my quick up on my NP. It'll kill, so I might as well use it now and see if I kill with normal card damage. Like, might as well go for it. 67k. If I crit, I'll get it. I have to crit like twice, though. I called it. We only crit once, and we didn't kill him. And he instantly buffed removed, by the way. And then he bustered, and then he arted. We actually could have died there if he double bustered, and then one of them was a crit. If only the buster was a crit there, though, and he did like an art, and it didn't crit, we still would have lived. It would have been low, but we would have lived. She's really good for this, though. She's super good for this, because that actually went pretty badly. I'm pretty proud here, because I was about as bad of RNG as we could have had. We did not get good crits. Ivan buff removed us a lot, but we still won, and it's because she just mitigates his ability to do stuff to you a lot because of her stuns and everything, and she just does a lot of damage. So, she's excellent. Dude, I hope that I haven't really paid attention because, this community, but, and I don't mean this community as in my community, I mean like just FGO community. It's like, you know, they're over there rating Canis's D rank, right? It's like, whatever. But I remember for quite a while, people were like, Scath is bad, she's so out of date, she's so behind Brunhilde and shit like that. I really hope people don't feel that way anymore. Like, it's just stupid. Like, she's so good. She's always been good, she's never been bad, she's always been one of the better Lancers, she's like super strong. And then they added Scatty, for God's sakes. Brunhilde is really good, though, I will say. I think people think Brunhilde's bad now, though, because they're all convinced Buster's bad. But I remember everyone used to say Brunhilde was the best. Everyone was like, Merlin, Brunhilde, best combo. But I bet you they're like, oh no, she sucks now. I bet you that's how people just go with the flow and they don't think for themselves. It's such a thing, dude. I think people only think of Castor Artoria now. I'm talking about, not in A, obviously. In A doesn't have Castor Artoria, but on JP, if it's not art, they think it sucks. Alright, we'll do the Ivan mirror. So he must go gas, gas, gas. So we'll do this. There's no world where we can go a long time. It's just not gonna work. I'll be right back. I need to grab water real quick. But yeah, Brunhilde is really good. I'm not downplaying Brunhilde. Brunhilde is great. You know, Fujino is one of the best solo units. Full stop, right? Chat, what are you doing? Anyway, Fujino is one of the best solo units, period. But she might actually struggle here just because of the buff removal, because she is kind of in a similar camp as Chaco Jana, as wanting to stack you know, buffs a lot. She does, her debuffs would last though. She'd be able to block, you know, his like buster up and crap like that, and the attack down will stay. Like, I'm sure she could do it, and her win, but her win rate, I don't think it'd be 100%. I don't think it'd be low either, so I don't know what it would be though, but I could see her having a bit of an issue. This is a terrible opening hand. Man, this stage is so easy to one turn in a solo, by the way. By the way, Legend, like, that must have been a pain to sync that up, so like, even like how they're not like messed up at all there, but it worked. Ooh. Okay, I really want to use that Shiki. Oh, wait, no, fuck, she's counterclassing. She'll win in like 2 turns. It's over so fast. Well, let's wait. What happened to? I mean, I very much approve of the Tesla, but did we lose the Ivan? Man, I wish I had MP2 Tesla, dude. I'm so jealous. The second I get him to MP2, I'm gonna ground to 100. I mean, Scath is definitely good lore-wise, but I don't think she's one of the strongest servants, no. But she's, you know, she's not like below average, like she's really good. But I think her NP is a lot worse than Ku's. Like a lot worse, it's not even close. So many people think her NP is Ku's NP's, but better. It's literally not. It does not have the cause effect reversal at all on it, and that is such a giant drawback. And she doesn't have PFA, and her stand-in for PFA is really good, but I think PFA is better. However, she's got better runs, and she has her other NP, which is really good. So, I mean, she's really good, but you know, like up there, you know, high tier, but not like, you know, she's like kind of like the Artoria range, right? I would say, you know, she's not even close to like, you know, fucking Edmund and Gilgamesh and that kind of bullshit. Let's see, what do we want to use here? That's an interesting one. Say, then we would want Ivan to crit. And she can, oh man, we gotta at least try it. That CE is terrible though. Like it's super bad, but she has buff removal resistance and it's 100%. So she doesn't have to worry about all the nonsense everyone else has been worrying about. Do I do default or Atlas? Her skills are good, so them coming back are good, but I'm not sure like, her health bar is what you're gonna have to worry about. Let me think. If I have heal boost, I would say default. Let me see if I have heal boost command code or not. And if I don't, maybe Atlas. We do have heal boost, so I think it's default. The issue is just going to be her damage output. If I don't bring Atlas, the amount, like, if things go well, the amount of NP she can deal with is lower. So, hold on. Do I think she can win before we, like, Ivan can NP 3 times, or just does too much normal card damage? Because even if, because obviously I might die before he NPs a 3rd time if we just don't have enough healing. But in a good world where I have enough healing not to die to his normal cards, do I think I can kill him before he NPs 3 times? I would say yes, and I think if the question is just if we survive the normal card stuff, I would think. Although, if I don't bring Atlas, we have less uptime on... I gotta do Atlas. It sucks, but I gotta do Atlas. Because we have to have good uptime on the buff removal resistance. So I took my glasses off for a second here because I'm cleaning them, so I can't read chat at all because I have terrible eyesight, so... All a blur. Hold on, I gotta clean these better. Hold on. This is like AFK the stream. Okay. I just gotta make sure I got the water off these properly here. Alright, I can kind of see now. I always find that annoying if your glasses are dirty and it's like obscuring your vision, and then you clean them, but then like there's still some water on them, so then that's obscuring your vision. It's like, god damn it. Okay. Not a bad opening hand. Especially if I crit next turn. Oh god. I hate the CE. I see people use it all the time too, and it's bad. I don't think I've used this CE a single time. Outside of the event, obviously. Just, gonna... The app crashed, oh no! Except, although that's when we close the app. Now, plenty of stars per turn CEs are good. Although, I will say, they're normally not meta though. Almost none of them are meta. Like, they can be occasional in very specific units in very specific contexts. The only one that's really meta is 2030, and that's because it makes so many, but you put it on a support. Like, you don't really see somebody do like, you know, fucking Ku with 2030, right? Or Billy with 2030, or you know, Orion with 2030, right? You just, you know, that doesn't, the math doesn't add up there at all. But there's a few stars per turn CEs that are good on a DPS, but they're always situational. They're always situational. Like, I completely stand by this. There is no stars per turn CE that is like just an auto slap on a unit thing. You know, it's all like tech options. You know, they're never, none of them are even close to being good enough to be on all the time. Because like sometimes I use Wolves of whatever the fuck for Proto-Ku, but only occasionally, right? It's for those fights where you really don't need starting NP. Otherwise I will absolutely use Golden Sumo or Drunken Jolter or the Christmas one or whatever. Yeah, we have to have starting NP. She's never gonna, she has to have her NP right away. Like, I've said this many times over my streams, and I really stand by this. And this is true, too, for budget, by the way. That what I'm about to say is less relevant if you're like a Leviathan, right? And you got all the meta stuff. That CE sucks, too, by the way. I swear we're, like, going through all the bad CEs right now. Anyway, if you've got, like, double Waver or Waver Scatty or double Scatty, Switch Mystico, then a Waver, shit like that. You know, starting NP's value goes way down, although it depends. And so long-term CEs can be better, but for budget setups and solo setups and last man standing, like, almost always starting NP is the best for DPS. Almost always. And it's a very specific scenario where it's not. Like, the enemy has a crazy high hit count, or you have a bunch of trash mobs to build your NP up on, or there's a gimmick where you get NP, or you don't need your NP at the beginning just because of like the way like the boss is like defense or damage resist or whatever, right? There's reasons, you know, why you don't use it, but as like your go-to option, it's DPS pretty much always want starting NP. The only time where that's like it's more like mixed up is if you're using like, you know, really good supports, like really good supports, like Castoria and, you know, Waver and shit like that. Because then sometimes you want those long-term supports, but you have to be such a good CE to not have starting NP and still be worth it, right? Because like here's an example: Art of Death normally is not worth it. Overwhelmingly, Art of Death is normally not worth it. It only is occasionally. And look how good Art of Death is, though. It has no starting NP, but it gives you a permanent 30% damage up. Now, that's really good, but even something as big as that is not. Even Yang CE is fucking 40% damage up, and permanent pierce and vulnerability still isn't always meta. Now, the Yang CE is probably the most meta, the most often out of the non-starting NP CEs, at least for solo anyway. Like Formal Craft, You know, all that kind of shit. That stuff is almost never meta. Now, there are some units are also exceptions, but exceptions prove the rule, right? So you've got, like, Medea, right, with her fucking 150% battery skill, right? The way that kind of works out sometimes, you just cast that right away and, you know, start getting the cooldown back. Where if she started with a 50% starting NP and she cast her first skill, she still gets the, you know, you're just wasting the starting NP, right? Although sometimes Medea just doesn't use her skill, builds up her NP the normal way, NPs, then uses the skill as an NP, so it's still a thing. And the Canis thing, same shtick though, and you're joking, Zaw, but I'm sure you know, it's same thing. It's like, that one's not good most of the time either, right? Like, it's a good one, and it can result in like some extra crits and big damage, but even it is almost never better than starting NP, right? It needs to be pretty specific context for it to be right. And sometimes it is right, you know, occasionally you don't need start, because there are just some fights where starting NP is pants, but most of the time starting NP is meta as fuck. I get my NP here no matter what, so I'll do this. That was an awful hand right there. And she really wants to have stars on her first NP, and Qingong got 4 out of 5 cards. And then Qingong didn't get his quick card. The only card Qingong didn't get was his quick card, the one that makes stars. And then the only card she got, well, it wasn't quick either. So that was about as bad as it gets. I'm actually restarting. It's like, that's not only, it's not that it's bad, it's like that's so unlikely to happen, right? Like, that's not going to be even remotely representative of her average luck. Because not only was that like a really unlikely thing to happen, but it was really unlikely and very negative. So a reason why a lot of like the more wonky CEs I think people think are good are not good is because a lot of the... This is an extreme example, but it's the same principle. Arash's second skill is really bad, right? And it's because even though it adds star rate, in practicality, the amount of actual stars per hit you're getting off of that is so bad that it doesn't fucking matter. And that's how a lot of CEs are, where they don't actually hit a breakpoint. Like, you'll get your NP every third turn or every second turn, regardless of the CE. And if like the CE gives you like 15% NP gain up or something, that 15% does not hit a breakpoint to get your NP a turn sooner, right? You'll just overcharge more. And like, who gives a shit? Now, there's exceptions to that because certain units have certain gain rates where they're like always hitting like 95%, you know, on that second turn or something, or off their loop or whatever. And so they do want that. Like, of course there's exceptions, but there's just so many CEs out there that have like star rate up or star gen up or even art up or something, but it's not enough to hit like a breakpoint that you wouldn't have already hit. So there's no point, right? And then you give up starting NP or damage or whatever, and it's just not worth it. Okay, this is so much better than last time because I actually can make stars. Now, I could NP, but I'm not going to do that because I want to see a more average like run for her. NPing right now would be really good though, because if you NP quick, you get some NP back. Chen dies, you get even more NP back. I'm trying to think if I want to do... I'm going to do Buster quick. I think it's actually slightly less stars, but she ultimately has to win through normal damage, so... Is this a Golden Sumo rant, Zaw? We're talking about lore. I would say Amy is better than C+, I would say. It's like, he does have some really big... Some people think Amy is like invincible and he can like do everything in every scenario. I mean, he's got some really big flaws. His mana sucks. You know, he needs a lot of time to do Unlimited Blade Works. You know, without Unlimited Blade Works, his stuff is ranked down. Like, he's got, you know, plenty of issues, right? And he's susceptible to getting ganked and things like that. But he still does have a lot of variety, and he can still carpet bomb, and he can still, you know, snipe people from across the city. Like, I would say Everyone thinks Emiya's so badass, beats everyone because Unlimited Blade works, but I would actually say Unlimited Blade works is really not the best thing in his kit. And in a lot of fights, he'd never be able to cast it. You'd just never be able to cast it against a lot of people. The most dangerous thing in his kit is not it to begin with, right? The most dangerous thing in Emiya's kit is the crap that he does against Saber in like Fate Hollow, and like what he does against Caster Coup in the OVA, right? Like, that's the dangerous shit about Emiya, and that will murder a lot of servants, right? If he literally did what he did against Caster Coup, against every single servant he ever fought, he would kill more of them than not. Like, absolutely. So I definitely think Emiya is well above average. I think he's well above average. Because without plot armor, if he does, like, Hrunting into Calibolg, or whatever it's called, Caldabolg, that kills so many things. And he can do that from across the city. Like, he can do that from across the... Like, that's so many things are dead, right? We can't all be Coup here, right? Like, that a lot of things just die to that with almost no counterplay. And then he has options, you know, beyond that. He does have Unlimited Blade Works if he has time. He does have, you know, things he can trace with Unlimited Blade Works that still have a variety of effects that can be useful in a variety of situations. I think he's well above average. Now, I don't think he's as, you know, again, his stats suck, his mana sucks. You know, there's still plenty of drawbacks here, so I don't think he's, like, on par with, like, you know, Karna, right? Obviously not, but I do think he's well above average, and in the right circumstance, he can be extremely, extremely powerful. It's weird, though, whenever I see people talking about Emiya, I pretty much always just see two camps. I always see people that act like he's some god-tier servant that can beat everyone, and Unlimited Blade Works beats anything, and oh my god, you just trace the moon. And then the other camp acts like, oh my god, he's only good because of plot armor and he just sucks at everything. That's just nonsense. I mean, Hrunting is so dangerous. I'm just gonna call it Hunting, for God's sakes. You know, Hunting is so fucking dangerous. You know, his Bolg is so fucking dangerous. You know, like, it clearly has good variety, right? Like, you know, yeah, it's mostly just blades. He doesn't have, like, you know, all the maces and shit, but still, like the boy is good here, right? Like, so, it's weird to me that everyone thinks he's either amazing or garbage, because, like, I think he's pretty good, but he's not like, you know, Edmond Dantes or, you know, some crazy crap like that. Alright, I'm gonna cast this right away, because none of that buff removal nonsense. Cast this right away. And now, what do we do? This crit spread is so troll. It's not even that the highest crit rate is on the only card I don't want to use. It's that it's 100%. Like, could you spread that out a little bit? Like, holy crap. I think I do quick, and then we go for crits next turn. That's pretty frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty frustrating. And I'll say, I think Emiya, everyone in the Moon Cell is way stronger, because the Moon Cell hacks. You know, Ku's Bolt turns into a skyscraper and explodes, right? And Emiya's capable of tracing Excalibur and actually not dying from it. You know, Scath, everyone is like on crack, you know, void crack, you know, if you will, in the Moon Cell. Ivan, you couldn't have crit, buddy. That would really helped me out there. Wait, did I get crit? How am I? If I got crit, how am I this low? Jesus. Anyway, but I think Emiya actually scales in the Moon Cell more than a lot of people. Like, everybody is generally stronger in the Moon Cell. Actually, not everybody. Some people's, like, legends don't really... Like, some of them just don't really change in the Moon Cell, but most things are stronger in the Moon Cell. But I think Emiya's even more stronger in the Moon Cell than normal. Which is why I think he's the only main character in Fate Extra that makes any fucking sense for being able to beat the characters that you fight. Still doesn't make, like, a lot of sense, but it makes way more sense than the other two options. Do I cast Guts right now? I think I need to wait at least one turn. If I died right now, like, I would lose anyway. Well, he could quick charge, though. So out of all the times we fought Ivan, I think he's only quick charged into his NP once ever, and we lost because of it. That was Liz, and we completely changed our strategy just because of that, and he's never done it again. But what if he does it again? Like, he hasn't done this whole time. Just have faith, forehead. Really wish I could have gotten luckier there, but okay, no quick charge. Your third action, I don't care. Okay, we're good. Wait, we're not good. Stop! Stop! Woo! Yikes! Okay, this turn sucks, because this is the turn I want to be crit the most, because I have invulnerability, and so he can attack me 3 times, but an NP can't crit, so he can only attack me twice. So, this kind of sucks. Really hope he crits me here. It's like the only chance we got. Ivan, you were critting so much earlier, and now you're not doing it. I really wish he didn't, I really wish he didn't have his NP right now when I had invulnerability up, because then he could attack 3 times, and that's an extra chance for him to crit. If he tries to buffer move, I don't care, we'll block it, but he also wouldn't attack again, so I need him to attack me and crit, because then I'll get a heal, or even have the heal boost. Nope. Oh right, his NP still can't crit because it's an extra attack, but its hit count is actually higher than his normal NP. But if anything, it does more damage because the extra attack is single target, so it'll wreck you either way. Well, we're pretty much fucked now, because something that really sucks about her is if he crits you on the turn and it procs guts, it won't heal you. It's really hard to explain, but like basically the heal happens after, and because you're dead, and the guts doesn't activate until after the calculation, it won't heal you. So we can't heal anymore. That was our last chance to get healed, and we could have healed for so much because we had 2 NPs up and heal boost. We would have just like skyrocketed our health back up. The music knows. So we have to transition. Our strategy has to change now, and we basically have to try to just crit all of the time and somehow kill him. Do I NP 1 final time for the buffs again? I don't think so, actually. I think I just have to... There's no way I'm doing 300k. I guess I'll NP 1 more time, but there's just no way that I'm gonna get enough damage off now. You can't buffer to fix that. You can't buff that. Like you have to change how the game works to fix that. Right? How they change damage cut. You know, damage cut wouldn't get proc if you had invulnerability or evade or something. They had to change the coding for it to work that way. That's how you have to fix that. Which I don't think they will do, because a lot of things would then kill you that aren't supposed to kill you with guts and stuff like that. But it really sucks about her when she gets on death's door like this. She can't heal anymore. Because she can, if you have 2 NPs up and you have the heal boost command code up, she can literally just go so much health out of nowhere. But sadly, no go. Look at him trying to remove our buffs. If only I had like a hard survivability thing I could cast right now, and then we could maybe heal. She's close though, 100k. I mean, she can win. Like, that didn't go very well. Like, just straight up, if we had ever healed enough, because if we had healed at any turn where we were able to heal, that would have bought us 1 turn, and all we needed is 1 turn. I mean, she's at 29k, so she absolutely can beat that, which is actually kind of impressive when you look at all the units that have kind of been dropping the ball. Apparently this was an Ivan stream. If he would have just crit, we would have won. But no go, unfortunately. That's her whole problem, though. It's like, she needs an enemy that actually crits a lot. And that's assassins. But she doesn't counterclass assassins. She needs an archer boss that has a crit gimmick. Which they do that sometimes, but... a crit gimmick, not necessarily an archer boss, but... What was this fight again? Lost Belt 2... Oh yeah, Valkyries. Let's see, what do we want to try here? This one is really hard at neutral. It is possible, but it is quite difficult at neutral. What do we got here? I would love to do Tesla at neutral. Why does this happen all of the time? Like, the unit that I want to test is always being counterclassed or counterclassing. Like, god damn it, man. Oh, you know what? Let's use Luvia against Ivan real quick. I need to wrap up in a second though. It's getting late, and I have not slept very well these last 2 days, and I have felt better. If either one's default or Atlas, we'll go with Atlas. She's a ruler, so she won't die as fast as everyone else. Edmund is super fast, and he doesn't need his NP to do it. He doesn't like. He can just teleport like that all the time. It's like how they work in lore is not like copy pasted how they work in gameplay. I swear to God. Anyway, it's not really that confusing because Edmund is crazy. Oh my God, fast, but he's not physically fast, right? He's not he's not hitting the track. You know, he's literally using bullshit dimension warping magic to teleport. That's not the same thing, right? And like, Kojiro is slower than Artoria, but he has a higher agility stat than her. But that's because his agility is like his agility with the blade, right? But if Kojiro goes in like a sprinting competition with Artoria, Artoria is going to destroy him, right? No, the Moon Cell obviously doesn't record lost bolts. It doesn't record anything like that. It doesn't record singularities or it records servants. Not exactly a great opening hand, but she doesn't need one, so it'll be fine. Actually, most would not lose to Artoria. Like, Mana Burst is nice and everything, but there are way better abilities out there in terms of speed, and also there's a lot of people that are way faster. Like even in Fate Stay Night, Ku and Medusa are both way faster than Artoria. It's not even close. Like, even with her Mana Burst, it's not even remotely close. Like, Medusa is much faster than even Saber Alter, who's got unlimited Mana Burst. And then Ku is almost just as fast as Medusa, but then he actually has even better acceleration than she does. That's Ku's thing, is he goes to top speed just instantly, basically. So he can, like, change direction, you know, like the best. But yeah, Natsu said Medusa and Ku are the fastest in Fate Stay Night by quite a bit. And then Medusa has slightly higher top speed than Ku does, but then Ku has significantly better acceleration than she does. And then after that, I don't think he ever even said, but it's probably Curse Arm after that. I don't think Natsu ever said that, but that just makes sense. So that would be my guess. I want stars, but I really can't make stars, so we'll just do damage, I guess. Agility is agility, right? Like, agility is not even speed in real life. I don't even know why some people think that that's what that stat stands for. Now, I will say, they do a terrible job with explaining the agility stat. If you read the character material books for that have the stats in them, you know, strength is super clear cut, endurance is super clear cut, mana is super clear cut. The only one that's not is agility. And I think they did that because they actually messed up their stats day one in Fate Stay Night. But agility doesn't mean top speed anyway. That's literally not what agility is. Please don't buff remove me. That would be so shit. Kind of want to not use my third skill because I don't really have enough stars, and then less buffs the better, really. Yeah, I feel like if I use my third skill, I have these awesome crits right now, and I'm just gonna throw them away. Because her Star Bomb with the Star Absorb command codes is enough, right? You don't really need more than that. And the first turn is the most important, like the first NP. You know, I really wish they would show off more of that Hassan, because he's detailed enough that, you know, there's quite a bit there, but we don't know anything. We don't know what his name is. Like, it's weird that there's a servant that they've done that much like work on, and they haven't even told us who the fuck it is, right? And we just got absolutely destroyed. It's a good thing that we're getting our niche and that we're half counterclassing, because otherwise we would lose now. But she can probably still win just because Luvia is bullshit. If Ivan wasn't evil, we'd be in real trouble right now. Now it's like an actual fight though, because we just lost all of our buffs. That's right, I forgot about that. Saber Alter actually is slightly slower than regular Artoria. However, it's not even remotely balanced because... Okay, here's the thing. Saber Alter and regular Saber are completely balanced against each other if they're both just existing like normal. The thing is, Saber Alter exists because she's, you know, corrupted by the Grail and she's hooked up to the Grail, and she has unlimited mana, so she's way stronger than regular Artoria because of that. But Saber Alter herself is not. Saber Alter is barely any different than regular Artoria. She's slightly tankier and slightly slower. That's it. The reason her performance is better is because she has unlimited mana. You hook up anyone to the Grail and give them unlimited mana, and they're going to do way fucking better. Like, and so many people for some reason think like Saber Alter is stronger than regular Saber. But if anything, I would actually say she's slightly weaker, because where she's different, I think, is like areas that she can't really afford to be weaker, if that makes any sense, right? Like the kind of toolkit she has, because she doesn't have a defensive NP or battle continuation or anything like that. I think her having, you know, more speed as regular Artoria is better. Like, I think that's more useful to her than you know, being slightly tankier. Like, that doesn't help, right? So really, I think if there's no Grail involved, I actually think regular Artoria is better than Saber Alter. But they're very close. I mean, there's almost no difference. Saber Alter might be, like, their attitude is also different. So, like, Saber Alter is more, like, she's less, like, dumb, if that makes any sense. Like, she's less, like, bull rush, but she also doesn't really, she's really apathetic and everything, right? So she's not gonna, like, come up with a big brain strategy to begin with. But, like, remember in, like, the Fate route where Shiro tells her not to go to Ryoto Temple, you know, on her own, with no support, with no information, and she does anyway, right? Saber Alter wouldn't do that, because Saber Alter's whole thing is just be the best knight possible, and you always follow orders as a knight, and so she wouldn't, you know, run off and almost die. Because if you remember when she did that, she almost died immediately. And honestly, if it wasn't for plot armor, she probably would have. So in that scenario, you know, Saber Alter would have been better, to be honest. But there's other areas where, like, regular Artoria might think up something that might be, you know, more useful, because Saber Alter's pretty, you know, deadpan. You know, dead fish, if you will. Okay, I think I invulnerability here, even though he doesn't have his NP yet. One, he could quick charge into it, but then I win next turn. So there's no reason for me not to invulnerability there. So I would have gotten my NP if he didn't remove my buffs there, I think. I gotta take damage now. I don't need to crit next turn, I just need my NP. You can still get your NP. Yeah, I just command spell real quick here. I don't think rulers are very interesting to test here, to be honest, because it's just, everyone thinks they're like really close to being neutral. They're not, right? Like they're closer to being counterclass than they are to being neutral. Because like the way their toolkits are designed, they are counterclassing for defense, and then normally their toolkits are balanced around being a bit better, right? Because their damage is at neutral, so it's like it's not really fair generally. Like, most of the rulers will be able to beat this. I use Luvia's third skill every once in a while. I literally used it last time I used her, right? But it's just normally not worth it because you don't normally need the battery. And normally, yes, you gain a crit buff, but you lose stars. And I literally, you my fucking chat. So many people in my chat always give me shit for not using Luvia's third skill. But then literally last time, you all saw, the people were here last time I used Luvia, right? She had like 100 crit on her 2 art cards, right? And we had like, you know, we had loads of stars, and then I used her third skill, and then her fucking crit chances on her 2 art cards went down to like 40 and 60. It's just fucking bullshit, and she just doesn't need it. Like why gamble when she on her own? She is so guaranteed to do so much damage, make so many stars, and like always crit and always loop her NP. So like, why the fuck would you drain the stars, right? It's just stupid. The only time I really use her third skill is when she's just swimming in stars, right? And this does happen, like that on that run right there. The turn before my first NP, right? Shingon was still alive, and we did not get a very good hand, and we didn't really make any stars. Also, this Luvia is not as good as Lost, and we don't have all the Star Bomb stuff. But let's say it was like Lost Luvia, and we had all the Star Bomb command codes, and we had her quick card, right? And maybe we crit with her fucking quick card. God, that's a sentence. So then we have a lot of stars, right? Then you use her second skill and use Star Bomb. At that point, you have so many stars that, and if you've got like the Star Absorbs on her art cards, then you can probably get away with her using her third skill, and you might as well grab the crit. You know, maybe the boss has a lot of health, right? And then it kind of makes sense, right? But if that shit doesn't happen, it is so not worth it. Because yeah, maybe you get lucky, maybe you the Star Absorb still works out, and you still crit with the art cards, and now you also have a crit up buff, and oh look, like doubling up on my value here. But it's not worth the risk of just everything going down the tubes, and you don't crit at all, and then you don't loop, and then, you know, it's fuck it, man. Like that skill, it kind of sucks, really. Like it's better in team play, right? In team play, you're more likely to have other units that make stars for you, right? The Star Absorb does shit. You know, like you can make up for the drawback. Where in a solo, it's just dumb. Okay, I should probably wrap up. I want to do another boss because all we did was Ivan today. But I got like a headache from not getting enough sleep, and I hate that feeling so much. So I think I'm just going to relax now. Let's see, tomorrow we'll probably do a few more of these, and then probably do JP, because these kind of suck, to be honest. There's not very many of these that are good, and I can't even do most of them because I keep one boss in most of the Epic of Remnants and shit, so it's not, and this one is Asclepius. Like, are you, like, yeah, that's a boss. Like, who cares about that one, right? So, yeah, they're not great. Which one's this? Is this, any chance this is Lee? Because that's good. I'll say that if that one's Lee, that would be nice. Is it Lee? Because, like, what else would be an assassin in Lost Belt 3? It's Kama? Oh my god. Is this the maze event where they did, like, the maze event for the 3.5 or whatever? Because they make you fight the easier one. I like how my chat is, look at this shit. Man, can someone that I actually trust say something? Because, like, look at my chat. Look at this shit. How is any, like, this is ridiculous. We got you, comma, you and what's his face, but there's no Berserker tag there. Like, it's just bullshit, right? Like, there's no way to know which one's actually accurate there. But yeah, I think I remember the comma fight, because I remember using Mori there, but it's not the big comma fight, it's like the medium one. It's fine for soloing, but it's not, you're not gonna have any fun with like team stuff, really. Well, I mean, maybe it depends, I guess, but it's not that bad. And then this one is Lost Belt 2. Who the fuck is a Berserker in Lost Belt 2? Is that when you fight like the Berserker giant? And like, why are there two Lost Belt 2 ones? No. I see. I see. This, you have to beat Lost Belt 2. So yeah, now this is Kama, because this is like they did the maze event for some fucking reason. This is Lost Belt 3, so this is probably the W, right? And so yeah, this is Kama, and then this is fucking Asclepius, because this game is stupid. Okay, anyway, let's rate somebody. Hey, it's still better than Anniversary 5, like, no question. And the Memorial fights aren't great, but at least you got the new bronzes and all that stuff. That stuff's awesome. It's just the Memorial fights are a little but the Memorial fights are even worse in the next one. Hey, let's rate the Phantom guy. He's got a bunch of viewers right now. That's good. Oh my god, he's doing Phantom versus Lost Belt 4 right now. Let's go. He's fighting, what's his name? William Tell. Alright, go get him, boys. Big fat stream. Alright, but yeah, probably mostly JP tomorrow, but we'll do a little bit of NA.